Well, good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you are off to a great start to your week. We're still trying to get everything together. It's a little scramble drill, but one isn't in it, the Ryan Ripken Show. But glad you guys are tuning in with us this morning. We're making this all happen early. Well, why? We make time for our guests, and our guest that's coming up here in a little bit is he goes by a few names, but some people call him the Bro Hearn or Ryan O'Him. But his real actual name, Ryan O'Hearn, of the Baltimore Orioles. He will be joining the show here with us upcoming. But let's talk to you about what we have in store other than Ryan O'Hearn joining us. Well, the NFL draft just happened, so we think we should touch on it. And Kevin Ostreicher has not slept for about 36,000 hours, it felt like, since the draft has happened. Kevin is currently sleeping in the chair.
Weekend at Bernie's right here. I don't think he's actually alive right now, but you good, Kevin?
Yeah, it's, I think I worked for like 36 hours straight and then had to keep covering. Oh,
yeah.
All right, we're good. Keep covering the draft. Yeah, that's about the weekend it was.
Stuff the Ray-Bans up, man.
Yeah, well, you might want to keep them on. You actually don't look half bad, to be honest. But besides,
I was going to say,
yeah, it might
Thank
be
you.
the new look for Kevin.
Thank
But
you.
besides that, we are going to obviously talk a lot of Orioles with Ryan O'Hearn. We like to show a little bit more of the side of the player, and he can give you insights. And then, John Means, Kyle Bradish, apparently, allegedly on the way back. And then, by the way, we will preview the Orioles and Yankees are about to face off for the first time in 2024 with the early division lead on the line. We're not worrying about that. But baseball is better when the Yankees and Orioles are good. They're both fantastic. So now, Kevin and Rocco, our recurring guest, is back in studio with us. Love you, Rock. Good kid. Zach Bollinger is also there. Okay. And then we have behind this, the doing everything, the man, the myth. Brad, how we doing?
good, man. Good. Pumped for Ryan to come on. Got a lot of good questions for him.
Yes, we do. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button as well. We do this. We usually do this Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, but we weren't lying when things go live, and we'll touch a little bit more on the Jackson Holiday situation.
That was your fault, by the way.
What did I do? Oh,
We said on Thursday, we were like, yeah, no, next show will be Monday. Just kidding. I'm sure something will happen that we'll have to go live for tomorrow. And then it did. So you spoke it into existence, so we'd have to go live on Friday.
yeah, I'll take the blame for that. And I don't know whose mic is all freaking out right
It's
now.
not mine. I just checked.
Nice.
Is it mine?
I don't know. There's always something going on here with technology. Just pull it, Kevin. No, that's definitely not it. But hey,
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out as we go. But Brad, I think you have a poll to get that starting, and we will touch base on it in a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll say what the poll is right now, and then I would love to bring us back and ask O'Hearn about this too. But the question of the poll so far right now, and we already have a ton of participation in this one right out the gate, but which board game destroys friendships the most? And the options are Monopoly, Risk, The Game of Life, and Settlers of Catan. I put Settlers of Catan in there too because the boys in spring training were playing that game an awful lot as well. Gunnar and Adley and those boys, they were talking about that too. So would love to get some insight from the viewers as well as Ryan when he comes on later.
Yeah, that's definitely one we're going to have to get him on with what's going on here. The board games, really, you lose friends. Actually, Monopoly is one game personally that we started to play for money at one point. Got really chaotic. What is going on over here?
Oh, sorry. I just made eye contact with Rocco.
No, not only did he make eye contact, he popped open his C4 energy drink and just stared me down while he did it and then took a sip. So that was really awkward. But just another day here in the Ryan Ripken Show studio.
Okay, well, why don't we get going here with a little bit of the talk here? We're going to touch on it for a second. It's going to bother the hell out of me what's going on with the mic. Brad, can you hear it?
Yes, so I think it's your mic.
Awesome.
If we can try to unplug it and plug it back in.
Joe's upset with you.
It's not me.
No.
It's not me.
Joe's
Joe, I'm
very
so
upset. I think we
sorry.
offended him. C4
Joe,
energy.
I'm so sorry. I just realized that Joe's upset.
What?
Joe, I'm so
What?
sorry. Okay, I'm going to help Ryan get his fix.
It's not me this
It's
time.
not. All right. Everybody
It
unplug their
might
mics.
be. It might be a
So,
headphone. It might be headphones.
All right, can we ask,
Just,
like,
just mute everybody's mic and then go around the room.
does anyone
Okay.
in the chat here?
It's two. It's number two. It's this one.
It is Rocco.
It is Rocco.
Oh,
Speak.
who set that mic up? Zach?
So mute.
Yeah, it's Rocco.
I think it's the table.
Yes, we get to mute Rocco the whole time.
I wonder if it's honestly because of the cord. I don't know. Tomato.
It's got to be.
It's got to be the cord. Hey, Zach, this cord. Heel cinnamon over here. And we'll get it going. But what did happen we did recently have a draft live show here. Wanted to touch on that. And also, guys, I saw Laura explain this or actually make a comment. People become members of the channel, help these guys pay for new equipment. This is a great time to talk about some of these channel memberships here, because we do have good equipment, obviously, but could we enhance it? Absolutely. That is the ultimate goal. I think it's going to go over here, Zach, by the way. Brad, talk a little bit about
wearing out.
Some of the equipment's wearing out. So again, we have two tiers, our Rip Super Fans and the Holy Shirts and Pants, which a lot of our, let's try it again. Rocco, speak.
Hello.
Oh my goodness, we're back.
Hey.
I'd like if we can, like, the money. Oh, Kevin's still muted.
Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, the new equipment's great and all, but I'd love if someone could just like pay for hair plugs for me. So that'd be great.
Okay, that's what you interrupted the spiel about, was to talk about your hair plugs. Okay.
$5 for new hair plugs. Let's go.
Oh, goodness gracious. The new cord. Thank you. There it is. Yes.
I'm never getting hair plugs, by the way.
So to give context with it, we do the two tiers. It's, again, this is for us to continue to make the content better. We feel like we're on the right track here, but Holy Shirts and Pants, it really is always a whirlwind when we get going here on the show. But for our Holy Shirts and Pants members, we did let them know who our guest was today and also who our guest is tomorrow for another impromptu stream that's coming up, internet permitting. That's a whole other issue here that we will talk about. But we are also going to have a special live stream for our Holy Shirts and Pants members. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you are checking the community tabs. That's one thing I want to emphasize on that. Please check the community tabs. Out of curiosity here, guys, before we get going, now that we're settled, it kind of felt like it's been a while since we were here, but we were here, Zach, for a good 5.5 hours for the NFL draft night.
No, think about it.
Well, the draft stream is 5.5 hours, but we did the Orioles stream earlier, so we were here for a good 8 hours.
Yeah, if not more. I think I got here like 2:33. You were here even earlier. Yeah, it was a hell of a day.
So we will put some clips of that in the future. But Kevin, why don't we just talk a little bit, if you're still alive and awake here? The Ravens overall draft, they got a player that obviously that they were very valued in Wiggins, but then they were able to slowly start to check some boxes and then have some upside position players like baseball. Got some upside players later in the draft that, again, like Raven-esque, you walk away and you feel pretty good and satisfied with what they did.
Yeah, I might be on the verge of falling asleep again, but I'm alive, and that means I can talk some football. So we're going to talk some football. Thank you.
Kevin.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, Kevin.
All right.
Give him hell, Kevin. Give him hell.
And I can talk about it in my sleep because I've been talking about it for the past like 3 days straight. So Nate Wiggins, we saw the pick happen live here on the Ryan Ripken show. The more I looked at it, the more I liked it. I mean, after Tyler Guyton went at 29, offensive line was the biggest. We knew that was the biggest need for him, but there was really nobody else you would really consider with that pick at 30, in my opinion. So Ravens love their corners. They invest a ton of draft capital in their secondary. Same with money, by the way. They love their secondary. So now you put Wiggins in there, one of the better cover corners in this class, if not the best cover corner in the class. Has 4.28 speed, ran that at the 40. The thing with Wiggins is he's a little slight in the frame. I think he was around 170 at the combine, but he slimmed down a little for that. So it was, I think, 180 or around there is his regular weight. But he's a competitor. He's a tough guy, someone who during his introductory press conference, he said, I'm here to win. We're going to do that. Talking about he wants to prove everybody wrong that he was drafted ahead of or behind. So to me, I think it was a good, solid pick based off of who was on the board. You could have argued Cooper DeJean, could have argued Kool-Aid McKinstry, some of those other guys. But to me, yeah, I think it was a solid pick for the Ravens. And Ryan, what'd you think about it?
Well, I just love the fact of, let's just be honest here. The division is extremely hard. We talk about it in baseball, the AL East, the AL Beast, the AFC North is a gauntlet as well.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at right now, we know that T. Higgins, if he's on the move or not, he's going to be in Cincy right now. That's the current time. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, you got to stop those guys. Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, those guys as well. And then you have George Pickens sitting over there. And I believe, was it Roman Wilson went to the Steelers from Michigan? And it just feels like the Steelers develop wide receivers later in the draft better than any team out there. So corner is a position, as Ravens fans can remember in their minds, it's seared in their brains. You never can have enough of it because the depth seems to get depleted. And I really do trust the fact that how excited, and I'm a big EDC believer. I always give EDC some appreciation claps always. And Zach's setting it up all up for you guys. I liked it, but honestly, I love the Walker pick later in the draft. I thought that was fantastic. And I do think that, again, you're going to look up here and go, okay, this draft class hopefully is another great class. Now, is it going to match the one from, was it 2022 with Linderbaum and Kyle Hamilton being the first two picks? That's going to be pretty tough to top just solely off of it. But I think overall, everyone in Baltimore is feeling pretty good, Rock.
Yeah, as they should. This was hopefully fans are looking back at this draft class 3 to 5 years from now and saying, okay, this was another home run draft by Eric DaCosta, another great first-round pick. The Ravens hadn't picked a corner in the first round since Marlon Humphrey back in 2017, and before that, it was Jimmy Smith. So corners in the first round, it's not the Ravens' cup of tea, and they were really surprised that Nate Wiggins fell to them. This was not a guy that Eric DaCosta said he expected to be there, and he could just be saying that, but I really don't think he is. I think a lot of people had Nate Wiggins graded much higher than pick 30, and the fact that he fell to the Ravens at 30, I think the Ravens got another steal. I don't know if we're looking at a Kyle Hamilton type steal, but you never know. You really, truly never know. This guy hasn't played a snap in the NFL. And he was asked about his frame. He was asked about his size. And he's, 20 years old, Kevin, right now?
Yeah.
It's like you still have plenty of time to develop. I don't know how much weight he's going to put on. I'm sure he'll gain a couple pounds of muscle. I don't think he wants to put on too much weight that's going to slow him down necessarily. I know putting on muscle is not really going to do that, but he's a quick guy. One of the best cover corners in the draft. Eric DaCosta said it. Nate Wiggins, he said it about himself. And one of my favorite quotes from him in this draft, when he was asked about, the teams that passed up on him because he got mad. He was in the bathroom because he didn't expect, he was like, what's going on? I'm probably like in his head. Goes to the bathroom, gets the call. He's like, the people that didn't pick me, basically, they're going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay. And I love that mentality. And I think Ravens fans should as well.
Yeah. Well, Zach, before then, I know we're touching on this briefly. And again, this is the one part of it. It's baseball season, but football's coming back around. And the draft happens. And if you're a fantasy football guy, dynasty drafts are coming back around. But Zach, for you, who was one of your favorite picks? I know you jumped up when I mentioned Walker. Is he the guy?
Yeah. I mean, off the rip, Tez Walker was my favorite pick. And I thought it would be my favorite pick, hands down, the rest of the draft, because he was someone pretty early in the draft process that he's just a home run hitter that I feel like can take the top off the defense. Also allows Rashad Bateman now to work more intermediate routes. He doesn't have to be responsible for going deep every single time. But then they drafted Rasheen Ali.
I was going to say, I was just waiting for that. Was the lead up
right
there.
And then they drafted Rasheen Ali.
Marshall connection.
Marshall thundering Hurts stand up. That man was my Lord and Savior for the entire 2021 football season.
That's what I initially, when you were getting excited about Walker, I'm like, wait, whoa.
That's
and I'm this is Zach's brother out there.
We conquered Huntington, West Virginia at the same time. So I actually can't put into words how excited I am for Rasheen Ali.
Awesome.
Obviously biased because I went to Marshall. I watched him live there, but the skill set he brings, I'm extremely excited for. I think eventually he takes over when everyone's healthy, maybe not this year down the line. He reminds me a lot of Justice Hill's skill set and his receiving back ability. He's a great returner. I've watched that man house many a kicks in person. But he's just a home run threat every single time he touches the ball. And I just love everything about the pick. Someone that I had been hoping the Ravens, and I'd just been saying it for years. I'm like, man, that's the guy that's going to be a Raven. And then when it actually popped on my screen, I like fell to my knees.
Dude, what he sent in the Discord was awesome. You were like, let's go with like 17 O's. It was like all caps, let's go.
Speaking of running backs, I do want to give Ryan credit. He did not hit on the Corum to Harbaugh, but he did hit on Corum to LA.
Yeah, but the other LA team to the Rams, which
you got it like half.
Is kind of half right.
Like half right. But my favorite pick I think TJ Tampa was just such a steal where he was. I mean, a guy that I think he was not due to his testing numbers, and we've seen the Ravens have success with some of those stories before. Kyle Hamilton obviously being the latest to everybody. All they could talk about was how slow his 40 time was. And then he comes and he's now one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in the league. Even Orlando Brown Jr., you want to go back to 2018 when he had a terrible combine. But the Ravens, they do value athletic testing numbers and athleticism as a whole, but they don't let it tell the whole story. And to me, TJ Tampa, and even if you want to talk about Adisa Isaac too, both of those guys were second-round talents. Get them in the third, in the end of the fourth round. I mean, the Ravens are a BPA team. It shouldn't necessarily shock anyone they did stuff like this. But essentially, this is how I view it. You replace Ronald Darby and Rock Yassin with Nate Wiggins and TJ Tampa. That's a huge upgrade, in my opinion. Your top four corners are all really solid guys. And we know the Ravens love their talent on the outside. But now you have a really solid depth room, not only on the outside, but the slot was set before this. They brought back Arthur Millette. They have our Darius Washington. I think to me, though, it's going to be tough for maybe both Jalen Armour Davis and Pepe Williams to make this roster. That's where I'm looking at right now. And is this? I want to give Statcast a shout out. Is this a word?
Kevin Occuparoid. I don't know if that's a word, but that's a new nickname.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of these actually. Look at this.
You're a good kid, Kevin. We're proud of you. And also, we want to thank for all those for the NFL draft.
Webster, he says he's going dictionary wise right now.
So I want to just point out again for the NFL draft special that we have, we will put more clips out there because it turned into a whirlwind. First out, shout out Kevin Ostriker or Oyster Striker for setting it all up. Kevin, thank you so much for doing that.
It was a fun time. It was
thank
a really
you,
fun
Kevin.
time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Hell of a job.
I'm glad it worked out. Appreciate you, boys. Thank you.
And so we just clapped, Rocco.
Yeah, but it was like that was like a two clap and a Ric Flair.
Woo! But in all seriousness, we had about 5.5 hours that we ran it for. And if you want to go back and hear Q and Nick Moore talk about the mitochondria of the cell at roughly 12:30 p.m. about injury recovery, 12:30 a.m. Sorry, yeah. Then we'll do that. So
that's great.
We'll talk a lot more as football gets closer. The next thing that's going to obviously have to happen, schedule comes out. Which games are we getting set for? Which games do I, as an obligation, have to go on the road to make sure that the team's okay and, everyone's traveling well. And that should be fun. But it's still baseball time, right? So right now, what we do know, it's a good time to be a Baltimore fan. Orioles off to a great start, despite everyone wanting to, jump off after every loss. If I checked last, the Orioles are sitting at 17-10. The team's feeling good, but we can get a pulse check overall. And before we do, hit that like and subscribe button. But I think we're ready. Yeah. I think our guest is here. I think he's set up. We can bring him in, the guy that we were talking about. Current Orioles first baseman, outfielder, designated hitter, Mr. Ryan O'Hearn. Let's bring Ryan O'Hearn on too. Ryan.
Hey.
How you doing? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you great.
Right.
I'm surprised I haven't a chance to meet you yet. Or I've seen you around. I don't bother you in there. You're doing your thing. I bother Bauman and Dean.
Oh no!
Perfect.
Phone right now. I'm on the last table, so it's not a stable setup. But it's good.
You know what? If you came on this show about 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago, we were an absolute dumpster fire with our setup here. It looks way better. It's a big studio.
Heard you guys Andrea, I was like, what kind of podcast is this?
Oh, yeah. So Nick Moore, the long snapper for the Ravens, came in for our draft special, and him and
Kadri Ismail.
And Kadri Ismail was a former Raven, and they were talking about recovery from injuries. And I shit you not,
it spiraled. It spiraled so quick.
12:30, we were talking about mitochondria of the cell. That's what we talked about. But we talk more sports here in general. So Ryan, I just want to make sure, are you okay? The Orioles lost the game. Season's over, but we're okay. 17.
Sun came up today, and all is well. We don't want to lose a series, but we got to turn the page. Big series starting tonight. So
yeah, and the Yankees come to town. It's always, I tell people, this is the Yanks and the Orioles. When they're good, it's a great environment in Baltimore, and both teams are buzzing. I got to ask you, it's become a running joke, I guess, on for the Orioles and coming here. You came over, well, the Orioles gave up their prized possession to acquire you. Mr. Cash considerations. It's a big one that people gave up. So, but ultimately, I just want to talk initially how it seems like you just love being here in Baltimore so far.
Dude, I love it. I really do. Just like you said, like the people, everybody in the building's great. The team is awesome. Like such a tight group. Like you could tell immediately when I came over how tight of a group it is. Seriously, when I say it, I mean it. There's not a bad human in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Going to work every day. For the first time in my career, it seems like the fans in the city have accepted me and like actually like me. So like that's fun. when you are somewhere for a few years and you just feel like hated, it's like not a great feeling. So coming to Baltimore has been like the best change of scenery possible for me.
Is that just because of just with everything with you? And we'll have, I know Rocco has a follow-up question here, but is that mainly just because of you trying to figure it out and trying to feel your role out there in Kansas City? And I think we had Brent Rooker on a while ago, and you two were on the bench together. And I think he said you guys would joke about you guys like completed each other as players, as being the right-handed version and left-handed version. Is that right?
I think us two together were the ultimate like power bat off the bench. So
yeah.
We had half of a good bench bat in each of us. But no, Rook is the man, and happy for that because he's absolutely killing it over there in Oakland.
Yeah, he is, and he loves playing Baltimore. But that's a separate note here. But Rock, I think you got a follow-up question.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, you talk about feeling accepted here and the fan base absolutely loving you because they do. We see it all over social media. This fan base is every time you're up, every time you do something, they go wild. Like they absolutely love it. I do want to talk with you about just your, I guess, final year in Kansas City because you're DFA'd and then you come here, you get traded and then you're DFA'd again. So DFA'd twice in what, a span of like a week or two? That's got to be a humbling experience. And Ryan talks about it all the time. Baseball's a game that'll humble you. What did you learn about yourself throughout that experience? And how did it make you the player that you are today, as successful as you are right now with the O's?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just been a wild journey. It's like at some point, a lot of like so much shit goes wrong that you just have to have the mindset of like, all right, I'm riding the wave. Like wherever this takes me is like, I just got to have a good attitude. Like just having, honestly, having like just gratitude for being able to continue to play baseball. Cause like there was a long period of time where I was like, all right, am I going to do coaching or am I going to like, what country am I going to have to go to keep playing baseball? Cause it's not going to be the United States. Like I was just weighing a lot of options. And with that going on, like I was just going to the field every day, being grateful to play. And then when I got DFA'd by Kansas City, it was kind of an interesting thing because they were like, hey, look, we just want to make room on the 40-man for, I think it was Jordan Lyles at the time, actually. It was like, hey, we want to make room for him. And I had already had guaranteed money at that point because I had agreed to a pre-arb deal. So it was like, you know, you still have a really good chance to make the team, whatever. But obviously as a player, you're hoping that, you know, you get traded or claimed so you can go straight onto the other 40-man and like be a part of another team, get a new opportunity. I mean, I was in Kansas City for a long time, and it just, as much as I love the people over there and the front office, this coaching staff, all the guys, like all that is like, you could tell things were changing, and it just felt like I was probably 2 years like too long there. Like that people were ready to like flip the page and have me gone. Cause I spent a full year in the big leagues and only had like 140 at bats maybe. And most of them pinch hitting. And like, that's a tough deal. Like, Ryan, I don't know how much you did that in the minor leagues.
Oh, I sucked at it. I was horseshit, to be honest there. And you know what? No one rode the pine really well like anybody else in 2021 than me. But you're right. And actually, that's going to lead to the next question, but finish your thought.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was time to, get a change of scenery. I always liked playing at Camden Yards, always. And as a visiting player during those years, it was so much different than it is now, which is another point. It was like, used to be like the most low stress, chill environment in the big leagues to play. And like, it definitely is not that anymore. And I've had guys on other teams tell me that, but yeah, and then my first conversation with Mike, I was playing golf, and you know, I get a phone call. It's like Baltimore number. I'm like, here we go. It's the GM. He's gonna, you know, welcome me to the team. I'm like, celebrating, and then his first 3 words were like, "Hey Ryan, we're gonna have to designate you."
Don't you love the business?
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, that's fun.
At that point, like, and then I went through the whole couple weeks in Norfolk and like just the whole deal. At that point, it's like you're almost numb to it. It's like your hopes of what you think is going to happen. Like, it's clear that you're not in control. So like you just go into like how can I make the best of this mode. So that's what it was.
And you really have, you know, which has been amazing. And Rock, great question. Also, people are commenting, stop flexing your leg asking a question there, dude.
I'm not flexing my leg at all.
Apparently, the group says otherwise.
By the way, I have shorts on. I'm not like,
I don't know about that.
Okay,
It's
all right.
absolutely ridiculous.
Not about you, Rocco.
Anyway,
Be careful there. Sorry, Ryan. It's, you know,
it's not about me.
yeah, he's a good kid. But the thing that I love is, you know, and I noticed this, I like to break down guys and give people more context. And I always thought for a while, you can't judge anybody off of what they've done in the past. And looking at it for you, you talked about it. If people look at your stat sheet when you're in Kansas City going, man, okay, you got a little bit of run, but then you didn't get a real good chance that last year, especially. And then a change of scenery changes everything for somebody. And for you, as watching it, it's like death, taxes, and O'Hearn's going to smack a ball that's in the zone. That's like you're locked in, and it's incredible to see. And, you know, everyone I talk to raves about you. So I'm so excited. But I'm glad you brought up coming off the bench, because that leads to the next question that Zach has, because, yeah, that shit is not easy.
Yeah, tough way to make a living. What you got?
Yeah. And Ryan, in kind of to start your career in Baltimore, you really were known for the big time moment coming off the bench and coming up with the big hit. Then obviously this year and later part last year, getting a lot more starts, but still, when you're coming off the bench, it seems like you always find a way to produce. How has your mindset changed, and how do you prepare on days you know you're not in the starting lineup to be ready for those moments? So when it happens, you're there and ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think like at the beginning of like when you're a young player, you kind of can get like overwhelmed by that moment, because if you go to pinch hit in a game, like a guy like me, it's going to be a meaningful at bat. It's going to be a big situation. So like you can kind of get overwhelmed by that, and I figured out a way to just like maybe take that little bit of anxiety or nervous energy and just like turn that into just like energy, like not you know, not be overwhelmed by it, but kind of like just know that it's there, like understand that you're gonna have that, and then just like take it into the at bat, and then on top of that, like my preparation starts like the 4th inning. Like I'm looking at the reliever list, and I'm like, all right, like these are their leverage guys in the back. Like this is probably who's going to throw the 8th inning and the 9th inning. And then I don't know if you guys know this, but the O's bought it's legitimately a $1 million pitching machine. And so I'm digging this right now. I can like actually face the guy who I'm going to face, except in the cage on like a holographic screen with like his
That's sick.
And like his exact spin and like just him to a T. So that's like our big new thing this year. So I've been, it's called a traject. So I've just been kind of taking advantage of that. And then, yeah, man, when it's go time, it's like, I don't know. I've had a lot of people say that I look angry or whatever playing, which is hilarious, because like I just get to another level of like locked in. It's like, you know, that's the only way that I know how to like do my job well. So when it comes time to have that big at bat, it's like I have all this energy focused into like one little at bat, and then I know that's like my job for the day is basically like get this job done. And I don't know. I mean, I've failed at it a lot, but overall, I feel pretty comfortable doing it, and actually kind of enjoy it.
I mean, you're pretty damn good at it, to be honest. I mean, that's the hardest thing, and it's so interesting. Technology nowadays. Wow, I don't know if that would have helped me, but what do you got, Ryan?
How wild is that? Like
yeah,
machine. I don't know. Crazy.
Well, it makes sense now with for you. I know you being so detail oriented and trying to prep, but you know, Hyde, it's no secret. He's not afraid to say, hey, get ready, get out there. If you look at the lineup, I thought he does it probably more, or he's at the top tier of that level of pinch hitting guys on a more regular basis. I mean, that's been kind of the MO the last 2 seasons. So hey, whatever you're doing, I'm not even going to ask you how you're doing it. Just keep doing it, because the last thing I want to do is put another thought in your head. Kevin did that last time, asking Heston Kjerstad what
he's still slugging down there. I didn't do anything.
Well, I mean, he's up now, but my point was
Kevin's
Kevin's
yes.
Kevin
when I asked, he went on a tear, and then now he's up.
Yeah, he goes, hey, do you try to think about this that's going on? I'm like, oh God, don't put another thought in his head, Kevin. For the love of God, don't do that. But yeah, a lot of people, when you get coming through in the clutch, they call you, I don't know, they call you Bro Hearn, I guess, which is around the clubhouse, or that's your Instagram name, right?
Yeah, it started a long time ago.
Yeah, that started a long time ago. That's at the origin story.
You know what's funny is like my best man, actually, Ken Gallagher, another baseball player, actually in his best man speech said something like, Bro Hearn, are you ever going to outgrow that nickname? Like, so I've been found on for that still being my nickname, but at this point, it's like there's no return. I don't know where else to go.
He also, I've heard Bro Hearn, I've heard Oh Him, or like, oh crap, O'Hearn just hit another ball out of the yard. I don't know. Zach, you know.
Yeah, it's like, Ryan O'Hearn, and the O stands for, oh shit, that ball was mashed. Stuff like that.
With the really well on the team, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're meant to be in Baltimore.
That's right.
You're meant to be in Baltimore. Okay, this kind of leads into, we got a couple questions. Let's get out of here then. But this kind of leads in, Brad and I were talking about this because talk about minor league struggles. We talk about trying to transition. We had Kowser and Westberg on, and I spent time with Westy in the past, and I knew kind of the struggles mentally to try to go through. And the recent one that come up, obviously, is with Jackson going through this. And I try to tell people it's a lot of stress and pressure, not just from what everyone thinks about expectations, name and what you're trying to accomplish, but just getting used to being in the big leagues. And I think, Brad, that was kind of what your question was kind of allude to, with just trying to adjust to the big league level.
Yeah, man. What's going on, Ryan? So I was just like looking through some stuff, and we talked to Mike Elias, and Mike was talking about how, like, when you come across a phenom like Jackson, who's never faced failure, it's almost kind of like a necessary thing, because no matter how good you are in the bigs, you're going to face adversity. We were just talking about how Aaron Judge was, going 1 for 24. Everybody goes into a slump. You played 646 games in the minors, and your journey was crazy, and it was, but I'm sure that like you felt that similar type of failure. And so I guess my question would be, like, being in the minor leagues for so long and then coming up to the bigs, it's still an adjustment. So like, what do you think kind of the challenges are that Jackson has also faced with only like really playing less than 50 games in AAA in Norfolk? So like, it has to be tough, right? Like, I mean, the expectations have been so high for him, but at the same time, he's still a ball player, and every ball player has to go through these struggles.
Yeah. I mean, I got a few thoughts. Like, for one, the AAA and the big league gap, in my opinion, has never been greater. Like, because if you're a young, good player and you're dominating at a level, you're going to get moved up. It's not like back in the day where it was like, all right, you're going to do 1 year here, 1 year there, 1 year here. It's like, if you're good and they think you can help the team, there are some benefits to having a young player be on the big leagues, extra pick or whatever it may be. So you got that. And then on top of that, Jackson Holiday, in my experience coming to the big leagues, was completely different. Like, this poor guy had 100 cameras in his face at all times. People screaming at him 24/7. Like, I just don't understand how, like, he's 20 years old. Like, can we let him breathe a little bit?
Yeah. What were you doing at 20?
Not that. I was probably hitting 250 in the Southland Conference. That's what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
So Jackson Holiday is playing against grown men who are trying to feed their families. Like, it's a different thing. And you know what else on top of that? When you're the number one prospect in baseball and you got a target on your back, like, pitchers don't want to give up the first home run. They don't want to give up. It's now, with all that being said, like, he is more than capable of like overcoming all of this. Like, he is a bona fide stud. He's gonna be a great player for a long time. Like, you don't get to this level of attention and prospect status just by luck. Like, he's there for a reason, and he is he's going to be an amazing player. So is Gunnar. So, obviously, so the list goes on with how many talented young studs we have on this team. So I'm not worried about Jackson. And you know what? I think a little hiccup, Ryan said too, like the game humbles everybody. It's like nobody is excluded from that. Everybody gets humbled. I don't care if it's some guys get humbled in AA and then they kind of make an adjustment from there and then figure it out. And then, like it took me like, I don't even know, 5 years to like not be like beyond nervous every time I stepped on a major league field. Like it's everyone has a different path. I think Jackson is going to be just fine. I think this is maybe a blessing in disguise. He knows, he's seen it. He understands like, all right, I got to make some adjustments. I got to fix some things. He's going to be just fine, man. And you know what else? His defense was really good.
Yeah.
You all know he can hit. Everybody in the world knows he can hit. He's going to come back and he's going to be just fine. And my only hope is that just let this poor man breathe a little bit. Like I can't imagine being so under the microscope so much that like everything he has to have this wall up of like, the perfect like, PR like answers. And it's a lot on a guy who's 20 years old, like trying to navigate playing in the major leagues. So I think Jackson Holiday is going to be a bona fide stud. He's going to be just fine. Just let him go down, kind of relax, regroup a little bit. And I'm predicting that he comes back with a vengeance.
I think he will too. And the thing that you brought up, I actually talked to his dad, Matt, about this. And I said, personally, dude, I don't care about what the talent part, because that's not a problem for me with Jackson. I said, the thing that impressed me the most with him was how he dealt with expectations. And I knew that journey, I think what we said, he's like, this is only going to be more challenging is because now people are expecting more and more of him. And that's a hard thing, but I think he's got the makeup, the talent is what you said. It's
yeah.
You don't have to, it's stupid how talented he is. And it's going to be really fun to see him play well. And I told people this before. So people like continue to say like, my dad was a good player. Okay, great. He was pretty good. He was 4 for 55 after starting 3 for 5 on opening day. And he'll say that was one of the most humbling moments of his life, hitting 117 in May. And you brought it up. And I tell people this all the time. This is maybe like put respect on your name, Ryan. But for guys, it's not about talent sometimes when you get to the big leagues. Yes, some guys might have more talent. That's obvious. But you got to the big leagues because you're a damn good hitter, but you needed to figure out how to get past that initial struggle and be able to find out your role. And you did that. And that's a reason why you are here in Baltimore today, which I'm pumped about. Glad you're here. Glad we could finally connect, by the way. So I'm excited. I'll actually, now in the future, I'm definitely going to bother you in the locker room. I don't feel bad about it now.
Yeah, definitely. Come hit me up. My locker mate is Dino, so he talks about it.
Oh, Big Dean. Good kid. All right. Well, now I'm definitely getting in there. Is Dean still doing his crosswords in the morning or whatever it is?
Yeah, I think he's dabbled in the crosswords.
Last time I saw him on opening day, he was doing it. He had a lot of erase marks, but that's for a different time. Last question, because we ask everyone here, but it's a Baltimore related and then kind of stadium-esque related. Kevin, you want to start with the Baltimore part here?
Yeah, Ryan, really appreciate you joining us. And you talked earlier how you love Baltimore and you from a visiting player perspective of playing at Camden Yards, but you've been with the team for a little while now. But how is the adjustment to just Baltimore as a city? I mean, it's probably a lot different than Kansas City, a lot different than, a Texas. Was there anything, I mean, did you know anything about Baltimore before you got here? Or were you just kind of like, what are they doing over here? They're putting Old Bay on everything and they're eating crabs all the time. Like, how was the adjustment and what did you know about the city coming in?
Yeah, so like pretty much everything I knew about the city was just whatever was around that visiting hotel over there in East Harbor, and then like go to Shirley's for breakfast on the road, or what was that Japanese spot that's down there? It's really good.
Oh, Azumi,
yeah. Other than that, man, I always liked the stadium. Obviously, it's a good place to hit. My little sister is a flight attendant, and when she was like just starting out, she was based out of Baltimore, so she always had really good things to say about it. She's like, "No, it's fun. Like you're gonna love it." And she was right, man. I love the water, like the harbor here in the summer is great. Like Kansas City is like 100 degrees and there's just nothing but, flat land. And like, I think the food's better by a long shot. I'm into,
that's okay. It depends on what you dig, what you're into.
The I know every player says this, but they do a good job of like reaching out to the guys. I went to Jimmy's Seafood and was just like crushing those crab cake egg rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes,
fantastic.
yeah, those
so good.
Yeah,
but yeah, other than that, like I didn't know a whole lot. You know what I do remember is those guys on those 14 and 15 Kansas City teams that made the run. Gerard Dyson actually told me this was like this. We were on the road in Baltimore, completely empty stadium, like Tuesday night, Orioles, Royals, like at the time, like probably 2021, like the two worst teams in baseball. Place is completely empty. And Gerard Dyson was telling me, he's like, in the playoffs, this is the craziest place to play in all of baseball. And I was like, what? Like, no way. He's like, I'm telling you. He's like, we listed off all these places that they played in the 14 and 15 run. And he goes, nah. He's like, Baltimore is insane. He's like, I'm telling you. He's like, look how big the stadium is. He's like, whole place is filled out, swinging the towels. Like, and he was spot on, man. And I've heard a lot of guys say that. Like, it's amazing in the playoffs how insane Camden Yards is. So I always kind of had that like in the back of my mind, like when the transaction grew and I ended up coming here, and I was like, man, it'd be sick to play in the playoffs here. Blah blah blah, and then it ended up happening, and it was insane. So we got a long way to go before we get to that point, but man, I think about that all the time. I want to play in that atmosphere. I want a right-handed starter on the mound for whoever the hell we're playing. So
yeah, that'd be great for you. I know. Hey, you can hit lefties. I believe you can. I know you're out there, but just if we're going by history here, Ryan, if I see a lefty on the mound and I had to bet, I'm going to bet that you might not be in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean that's the way right. I told Fuller and Borgs yesterday, hitting coaches, I'm like, dude, I'm so tired of just getting blown up by lefties. Like, I think at this point, it's like just such a thing. It's like mentally, it's like, which is stupid because I feel like back in the day, like in the minor leagues, I know it's different, but like I used to hit lefties fine. Like, so that's going to be my new project. And I know I'm probably not going to get starts with it, but that's going to be my new project is like, if we're up by a lot or down by a lot or whatever, and I get to face a left-handed pitcher, I'm going to figure out how to get a hit because I'm tired of just getting destroyed by these guys. It's bullshit.
If I could be honest, I'm tired of it too. I'm tired of that shit for you. For you, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I don't want to see it either.
All right, last thing. These are the fun things out of here. This is Brad. Do we want to do the more explicit one first or the?
I don't know if it's explicit or not. We asked Steady. We've asked a bunch of guys. So this is a controversy, Ryan. It's controversy. Okay. When you do number 2, okay, you got to get the TP. Do you ball the TP or do you fold the TP?
I'm sorry. Fold?
Yeah.
Fold. See?
Okay.
It's a scientific experiment, and we're thinking that the ladies primarily are the ballers and the dudes are the folders.
I didn't even know who balled up the TP. I feel like that's reckless and just kind of.
That's what I'm saying. Ask your wife. I think it's. I'm almost guaranteeing she's going to tell you that she balls it up.
This is. I don't even know how to go. This every time we ask this.
The science.
Actually, by we ask, it's you ask this, Brad.
I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm just saying.
Baller.
You hear that? Rocco's a baller.
Rocco's might be a woman. We don't know.
Anyway.
Oh gosh. All right. Last thing then. God. You just have to ask that question each time. It's not science. Bullshit.
It's not. Listen, I do it for the people. Joe was asking for it, so I had to see. And now we got people that are. Laura says, "Oh, Laura's a folder." There we go.
Okay,
see?
This is not where we needed it to go at this hour. Hey, happy Monday to everyone. Last question. Okay, last question. Ryan's got to get ready for the Yankees here. Yanks, O's, 4-game set. I'll be down at Pickles working, kind of. Last thing, it's a controversy on the other side. You're going to the stadium and you're getting a dog. What are you putting on your dog?
Dude, I'm plain. I'm playing.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes.
No.
I'm playing. Always have been.
Yes. Thank you. That's why I knew I liked you. I'm the same way. This is the best answer
Must be
I've
the
gotten
name.
so far.
Well, now you have to
Gotta
tell
be
him the
the name.
story.
No, I don't have to tell them the story.
Yeah,
We'll
you
leave
do.
the story out.
Yeah, you do.
No, we got to
No.
tell them the story now.
Okay, so the story was, as a kid, I choked on a hot dog with skin. And you can ask Bauman about this. Bauman, it's like one of his favorite stories. And then my mom, Kelly, had to then cut the skin off the hot dog for me to eat it. So I was a plain eater. Don't judge me on the other fact. We eat it plain, but as a kid, that's what I went through. And they think it's the worst thing I could have ever done.
Yeah.
It's just because of the way you tell the story. It's really what
Did you get your crust cut off too?
No. No.
You so had your crust cut off.
I did not, actually. Okay. Actually, I did for a little bit. I lied. I did.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, we're going to have to ask Kelly about that.
Oh, sugar. Yeah, but okay. I'm just happy. You're the first person that said that with me. Elias judged the hell out of me when I told him plain.
Yeah, I'm
He sure did.
like plain hamburgers. Well, cheeseburgers, but plain
Okay.
cheese, hot dogs, all that. Very plain, picky guy. So
That's okay. Whatever works for you. See, and that's all right. That's why we're going to add to the hot dog race around the stadium ketchup, mustard, relish, in a naked dog plain.
like
And we'll be good. We're going to do a lot. We're going to do a live hot dog race here. Kevin's going to be the relish. Rocco will be ketchup. Zach will be mustard. And then I'll be the naked dog, but I won't go naked. I'll just go
Be a
as
naked,
is.
a naked colored, like what, a bodysuit?
Yeah, yep.
We might do that. Okay. Hey, Ryan, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you. I will bother you in the clubhouse. Good luck tonight. Hopefully a lot of righties on the horizon for you, and stay healthy. All right.
all right, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Ryan O'Hearn,
Hey,
everybody.
Appreciate it, Ryan.
Appreciate it, Ryan.
All right. I am so fucking pumped. That made my day.
They say never meet your heroes, and this is why.
You know, I love Ryan how when you were asked if your crust got cut off, you looked at Zach like he would know if your crust got cut off in
No,
your
it's because of
childhood.
the stare I gave him. Like, don't you dare say yes.
I know when the first person comes on here and says relish, I'm gonna go crazy too. So I understand your reaction.
Oh man, I just feel better that there's another guy in there.
He was very, very, like offended at anybody who balls up their toilet paper.
It was up there. Well, he certainly won't like Rocco, by the way.
I will say I love the fact that he was like, I am so tired of getting beaten by lefties. Like that was such a real moment. Like, because so many players, like you see them and they're like, oh no, I can hit lefties like that. I just don't get the opportunities. Like he was very open. He's like, it must be a mental thing because I used to be able to hit lefties and now for some reason they just beat me every time.
Yep.
So that was
but the thing was fun, by the way. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Just had Ryan O'Hearn, Brohearn, O'Him, whatever you want to consider him, but he's one of the best hitters on the Orioles. And he's a great guy, but I loved his perspective. He prepares just like anybody, or actually more than anybody. You see what he continues to do. He's incredible. And the thing that I loved here with Ryan, and for those that heard the words, you're not always going to have it figured out. He talked about stuff with Jackson Holiday specifically, but every player that has come up here has talked about it in certain capacity, whether it's saying I had to have my own personal adjustments. And this is a hard thing. And you can't judge a guy what happened in a different situation. We can only judge on what's happening now. And what I love is that Ryan O'Hearn stayed patient. He preserved, had a fresh start. And there's a reason why he hits in the middle of the order for the Baltimore Orioles. It's because he is one of the best hitters on this team, both physically and mentally. And hopefully that continues here against the Yanks. They need it. Those need to get back on track here. And again, I saw a new member here. Was that Michael? Did I just see that? Yes, Michael.
All right.
Holy Shirts and Pants Club member.
Oh,
yeah, Michael.
Holy SNP. And yes, so the Holy Shirts and Pants, we did explain that we were having Ryan O'Hearn on to our members here earlier. We gave hints, I believe, earlier in the weekend. And then we also previewed who our guest will be tomorrow, since we will be doing another stream, Stop Traffic, because we try to make time for our guest. Justin, thank you. There it is. Justin, thank you so much.
Justin. Dog.
Appreciate you.
Justin.
For the score on that interview, perfect 10 across the board from Justin. Thank you for that. We really enjoy getting to do these things. And our goal here is for everyone to hear the players from this is a different perspective, an insight on it that isn't going through the motions of getting caught on wins and losses, right? It's about the journey of it. I mean, Rock, I thought you brought it up well. The human experience of getting DFA'd, and also the funny thing of being like, oh, hey, Ryan, we just traded you for you, but we're just going to DFA you as well. Like that.
Yeah.
That's a reality.
You expect it's like the highs and lows, the emotional roller coaster that you're going to go on. It's like he said, yeah, I got the call from Baltimore area code or Maryland area code, and I was so hyped because it was Mike Elias on the other line. He's like, yeah, Ryan, we're going to send you right down to AAA. That's not what you expect. When you get a call from a different team, you probably expect, okay, I'm going to come in here, contribute, and play. And to hear that news, that's a bummer. But you know what? He didn't sulk. He could have felt bad for himself. He could have been like, wow, I just got DFA'd twice in like the last week. He went down to Norfolk, AAA, hit the cover off the ball, came up here, and he's doing the same thing. Any role you put him in, he's going to hit for you. But he says, except against lefties, but you know what? He's going to get that figured out. And that's exactly, I mean, I'd love to see him get it figured out, and I know he would as well. So that's the hope. Maybe we're going to see Ryan O'Hearn in some lefty situations this year, late in games. Maybe Hyde throws him in there to get those at bats and to keep building off of that, because he's a great player. He's a great hitter. The fans love him. So that's a guy you want to root for as far as just going forward in his baseball career.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out how ridiculous this is. This is his Baseball Savant page. This is unreal for a guy who obviously is just facing righties mostly. But when people wonder why Ryan O'Hearn is not only in the lineup, but batting third, fourth, fifth in the middle of the order, this is why. Because he is absolutely mashing the baseball right now and has been pretty much since the time he got up with the Orioles. So these are the reasons why Ryan O'Hearn. I've seen a few people in the chat talk about his percentiles, so I wanted to bring it up. It's just unreal. When he's hitting like this, you can't take him out of the lineup.
Well, and this is the other part here, actually, in the breakdown that I did. So check that out on YouTube. And I meant to clip one up here for people to see. But for Ryan O'Hearn, if you watch what he's doing well, when they make a mistake in the zone, he punishes them. Any pitch that's left over the middle or part of the plate, he's ready to hit off speed, fastball, and he's doing the damage with it. And he's so locked in. The numbers don't lie. In this case, you can say, look at there's one thing to look at a box score and just to see what happened. It's another thing to look at that percentages and tell you how much he is squaring up the baseball, how hard he's hitting the baseball, and just how damn good he's been for Baltimore this year. And really, since he came up last year, he has been a tremendous asset. And that's, again, why you need to keep him in the lineup. That's no knock to any prospects, but that's just because of the situation. And again, if you're new to that, new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe on the Ryan Ripken Show. Do this Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays, impromptus. We'll do it on every other day as well. It feels like we're starting to do that more and more. What's the other news? What do we got?
I was just going to say, do you want to address the poll that from the beginning of the show? We didn't.
You know what? That we might. We might. Yes.
Brad does. Yeah, go ahead.
What were you going to say?
You don't have to flex your leg,
No,
Rock.
because I'm not flexing my leg.
No,
I'm not doing it. Anyway, I was going to say, does it have, well, because bring the poll up and then I have the question because nobody knows what it is right now.
Go ahead.
The poll is, which board game destroys friendships the most? And I went with Monopoly, Risk, The Game of Life, and Settlers of Catan. So all the marathon type games. Which one's ending the friendships the most?
To that, my question is, I wanted to know if it had to be a board game because I know what video game destroys friendships the most.
It's not the question.
But
it's not the question.
That's another poll for another time. Trust me, I got you.
All right.
What's your favorite MLB? What's your favorite MLB team? Well, I'm wondering, can I add in my NFL teams?
Yeah.
Why don't you just go drink your C4 and shut your mouth?
Already finished it.
Because there
Joe.
is an answer, but we're talking. Well, there's another answer that's not a board game, but we're only talking board games. What are the? I didn't hear the options. I'm sorry. I'm dying over here.
Monopoly, Risk, Life, or Settlers of Catan.
I'm still going Monopoly because that's the one I played the most, and that's where things become very diabolical.
Yeah, I think Monopoly too. We actually got Scooby-Doo Monopoly back at back at where I am. So that one gets a little crazy sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll go Monopoly. It destroyed the Sopranos family. It's when Tony and Bobby Bacala got into the fight over Janice, and Tony ended up with a Monopoly board piece stuck to his face, and he was bleeding. So got to go with Monopoly right there. Great episode, great series.
So is that because you want to be in the Sopranos, or that's actually how you feel?
1000%. Love the Sopranos. So it's, I mean, I
Rocco
still feel like
DeSangro.
you haven't given it the justice that it deserves. So you should
Rocco.
watch the whole thing, watch it, rewatch it, watch it again, enjoy it. It's great.
He sees you. He's just not acknowledging
I
you.
see you. Yeah. I'm not
Where
going
you
to.
at, Zach?
Zach,
I'll probably go Monopoly.
Wow, great answer, man. Just really followed everyone else there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I never played really. I've never completed a full game of Life or Monopoly. Like eventually, I just ADHD. I don't. I'm off somewhere else.
If-
with that.
if-
Did
Oh,
you
go
ever
ahead.
complete a game of Risk?
No chance. None of.
That takes like days.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm one of those like we can sit down and play like Sorry or something.
You want to know
like a
underrated?
15
Yeah,
minute-
sorry. Also, that's a
Like
good one.
I'm talking like we need a 15-20 minute game max. When I get like an hour deep into Monopoly, I'm like I just want to go back.
The attention spans of kids today.
Did you guys
I'm
ever play
telling you.
Mousetrap growing up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
oh,
a
yeah.
hype.
Fun.
That was a hype game.
Don't Wake Daddy was another one.
That's
Oh.
another great one.
There's another good one. Operation was another
I don't
good
know if
one.
that could be a name of a game anymore.
Well, it was. You know what? Grow up, Riff.
Absolutely
You're 30 years
hated. Absolutely hated.
It was.
The
Don't ruin my
Operation.
childhood for me. Thank you.
I hated Operation.
If we're talking about all games in general, I do think if I had a choice of what game ruins friendships, I think it's Uno, 1000% for me.
This is a
Oh,
great
once you
answer.
get to
Sorry.
Oh.
reverse,
Yeah.
draw four,
Mhm,
it's game
mhm.
over. Yeah, you're done.
Ladders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's it. That's the Sopranos quote. So I
Othello.
had to bring that
Othello
up.
was an
Great,
underrated
great
board game, by
Sopranos
the way.
quote.
Othello gets a lot of hate, and Mancala. Ryan does not know what either of those are because we had that
What?
conversation.
Belongs the
What?
spoils.
Othello and Mancala. Do you know what
I
those
know
are?
what
Quotations
Mancala
book.
is.
Yeah, see, that's what I said. They're
Nobody knows
underrated.
that line.
Okay.
Never heard
Just
of that.
rattling
Yeah.
off Sopranos
Othello,
lines
yes.
Here.
I will say last thing was Sorry, by the way. That is the one game where I get so pissed at somebody else that has no control over the game.
Well, the whole point of the game is like, isn't it when you like screw someone over, you're supposed to go
Yes.
like, sorry, like it's supposed to ruin friendships.
It's like designed for that.
Literally.
is.
It really is. All right. Should we, align back in,
Rocco lock in. Boom.
I'm good.
Rocco lock in, no sleeping.
No, I'm saying we're all doing the Rocco lock in. We're locking back in.
Oh, lock in. Good kid. And we can see his face today. This is great.
And his legs.
And his legs. Oh, goodness.
Oh,
I'm
Kevin.
going to the gym after this. I'm just,
So
wearing
am I.
shorts.
Some flex. Is it leg day?
It actually is. Yes, it is. It's like day to day.
We still need to
He
get
definitely
our
went to the gym before this so he could get a leg pump so he could show up and flex them.
You know what? We got to do our ripped with rip segment.
know,
So I
yeah,
got
yeah.
Kevin's got to get.
I'm ready to get swole on the Ryan Ripken plan.
I know that they say there's like there can be hot girl summer. Is that the thing? And there's going to be I don't know if there's a hot guy summer, but there's hot guy autumn.
Yeah,
So-
I got fall.
All right.
Hot Kevin Fall.
Yeah.
Hot Kevin, hot guy autumn, hot Ostriker October.
Oh,
Yeah, kind of works.
Okay.
we'll
We have
get
to
the
find. We
name
have to
right.
find a O word though for triple O. Something Ostriker October. I don't know what the word is. I'm sure Stackhouse has a word because he was using the dictionary.
Let's get the Webster dictionary back out. But honestly, let's circle it back in here, guys. Let's funnel it back in because we're talking a little bit of baseball. Reinforcements, I guess, in some cases are coming specifically for the Orioles.
How much longer do we have on the stream?
Okay.
I'm just wondering.
He's literally gonna start drinking his pre-workout. That's why I just asked that question.
Do we have like?
We were so close.
Let me know when there's like 15 minutes left so I can chug this.
Okay.
We were
I'll
so-
let you
we
know.
were so
Let's get
close.
through. We get through this question and then we get through the series preview. Then we'll be ready to rock.
I can't believe you just gave in to him like that.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rip. He's a good
It was
friend.
like it was
We
like
had
a
a-
teacher explaining like what we have to do before we go to recess.
We had a very good conversation. You know what I know what you did at recess. You're
Okay,
the weird
Ryan.
kid.
All right. Let's
Like,
heel.
picture nose.
Let's heel cinnamon.
Heel.
Right?
Hey,
Yeah.
kids.
Jesus Christ!
Kids.
Every time Rocco's in the studio.
Okay.
Kids. Here we go.
Should we talk about the series that just happened and then?
Well, series just happened. We can talk about it. And as you can see, you could tell Ryan O'Hearn was devastated. That's a series that the Orioles lost one game of the season. How do they move on? Well, you just move on. That's what you got to do in baseball. But you're right. He did say one thing, that they wish that they don't like dropping series. Losing sucks at the big league level. Your job is to win. The Orioles specifically lost 2 tough games. It felt like the Pittsburgh Pirates series in the sense where they felt like they could have won all 3 games. In this series, Craig Kimbrell, unfortunately, 2 blown saves, command issues in the first one. The second one, it looked like he was not feeling right during that first batter. And then he stayed in, obviously, gave up the home run, left the game right after that. The Orioles, who were the best team in one-run games in 2023, not off to the best start in that case right now. The Orioles sit at 2-4 in one-run games with 2 of those losses this past series. And that was their kind of MO. It's not the end of the world, and we're context here. The Orioles are 17-10, but what did we say before this series? The Oakland A's strength. What was their strength? Anybody?
Bullpen.
Particularly one player.
Do not. And then I'm going to butcher the guys. The guy that came in last night or yesterday that came in to close out the game too. Miller and that dude, nasty. But Rock, that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. Not the end of the world. I mean, the Orioles context are still sitting with 17 wins, but it does sting the nostrils, as our friend Ron Burgundy will say.
Yeah, I see. I saw Rod drop in overused right there for Kimbrell. I see a lot of comments just on social media talking about that. And that's it seemed like that's what happened to Kimbrell last year with the Phillies. Once I get to my point here, Rip, I will ask you the question, do you think they're overusing him this early on in the season? Because he has pitched a lot. He's gotten a couple saves, back-to-back blown saves. So you never want to see that from Craig Kimbrell. And obviously he leaves the game with back tightness. So you hate to see that after he gives up that home run, that go-ahead home run to the A's. But we discussed this on Rip and Rock yesterday when we were talking about Kyle Bradish. I know we're going to get into that, and John Means potentially, they're on their way back. And who kind of leaves the starting rotation, or if they go with a 6-man rotation. What the Orioles are lacking right now, I don't want to use the word lacking because that's kind of, I don't know. You talk about the guys that are in the bullpen right now and what they're bringing to the table. So you don't want to take that away from them, but they don't have a long bullpen guy. They don't really have that long relief guy. So could this be something that helps the Orioles going forward? Bradish Means coming back. You move I don't know who you would move to the bullpen right now, but kind of a good problem to have. Whereas the back end right now with Kimbrell, that back tightness, you never want to see that. Back-to-back blown saves. It's like, what's going on? The one-run games, that, like you said, that was the Orioles' bread and butter last year. So what is happening? They need to get back on the right page, need to get this thing figured out going forward because, listen, it's okay to lose a series, but in the fashion they did and to the team that they did, that leaves a sour taste in your mouth, losing to the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, I mean, but also, and you're right. Go ahead, Brad.
I was just going to add to this before you get into it, Ryan, because I know that your toxic trait is positivity, which I absolutely love. But at the same time, there is some room for criticism here. Even the games that the Orioles have won, they were games that should have been no doubters. The couple Angels games as well. It's frustrating as a fan, I think, and I'm sure it's probably frustrating for the team too. I'm not going to take that away from them. But when you see Dean throw an absolute gem, and then the Angels come back when he gets back on the bench and the bullpen takes over, that's got to be I just for me as a fan, I'm just kind of damn it, this is, why does this keep happening? At what point are you as a manager or even as Elias looking at this? It's too early to make the trades. I'm not even gonna entertain that, but do you just kind of let this play out? Because that is kind of the glaring weakness right now, is that bullpen. When you see our starters actually doing pretty damn well, and in fact are ranked second in the league, and then the bullpen shows up and then kind of makes things a little bit scary.
Yeah, you say my toxic trait is being too positive, which maybe I try to be optimistic.
Not a bad thing. I'm just saying everybody's got them.
But I honestly, I'd rather that, because I think context. I think everyone just goes out there and thinks sometimes when you play these teams, Oakland sucks. They're terrible. First off, when people say about the Oakland A's, they are not as bad as people think they are. Yes, their offensive numbers are not high. Guess what the Yankees just did to them? The Yankees split the series with the Oakland Athletics here. So when we give context here for a little bit more, that's kind of what grinds my gears. Yes, the Orioles could have closed out games. There's no doubt about it. But we're not having this conversation if the Orioles win one of those two games and win the series. Now, as far as how the Angels concerned, in the perfect world, everyone will say, hey, if your starting pitcher shoves, therefore, our bullpen should be able to knock it down and be fine. But did you hear Ryan O'Hearn talking about people feeding their families? Did you guys hear that line a second ago?
Yep.
That resonate? Mm-hmm. That resonates with me. These are grown men that their jobs are on the line. So I'm not saying, I understand where fans get frustrated, but that's just how baseball works. At the end of the day, you got to find a way to win games. And quite frankly, for Orioles fans last year, when the Orioles were behind in a lot of games, no one came back more than the Baltimore Orioles last year and won games. So I think the context is different because the expectations have shifted in Baltimore, where last year it's fun, it's exciting, we're chasing for that division, and then you win it. Now it's, well, we need to be up at the top at all times, and we have to be perfect. That's not what the team's going to be in April. Now, Rock, you brought up a good point, and we've talked about this. You are not going to have everything figured out on April 29th as we're recording this, right? Mm-hmm. And that's okay. Honestly, you're not winning any World Series at this point in time. You got to figure out what you have. And this is why teams don't make moves early. You have to assess what you have and go from there. Yeah, the Orioles don't have a long, quote-unquote, long relief type of guy. Every pitcher besides Cano and Kimbrel are put in every role. I think that's fair to say. We've seen every guy in a different role at some point, whether it's in the 5th inning or 9th inning, besides the two that I just mentioned. So Irving, I think, would be the one that'd be able to handle it, even though he's pitched great, Ron.
He's been great.
He's been fantastic his last two starts.
Yeah, back-to-back scoreless outings. And I want to take this time to apologize to Cole Irvin because I didn't think he was going to be bad this season. I just thought maybe in the rotation with Bradish and Means out, it was going to be a guy that was going to be a placeholder until one of those two guys, if not both of them, got back, and then you move into the bullpen. But then you ask yourself, after those two starts, and I know it's still early on in the season, how do you take Cole Irvin out of the starting rotation right now? Would he benefit you more in a long relief role? And that wouldn't be a slap in the face to Cole Irvin. That would almost be like, hey, man, you're doing so well starting. We have too many starters right now, and obviously Kyle Bradish is not going to be moved to the bullpen. Nope. The hope is that John Means isn't either and that he can be a starting pitcher. I mean, he went 7 innings scoreless, pitched, through 90-plus pitches in his latest rehab start in Norfolk. But Cole Irvin, if he's not going to continue to be your starting pitcher, the way he's pitching, I don't know how you can take him out of the rotation. Maybe a long bullpen role would really benefit this ball club. And if Brandon Hyde or someone pulled him aside and said, hey, Cole, like you're shoving right now, you're really pitching well, but we need you in the bullpen because we need you to patch together. Okay, from start, we're going to get 5-6 innings out of our starter, hopefully. And then you could go maybe 1 to 2. And then one of these two guys, whether it's Cano or Kimbrel, can close it out and shut the door right there. So obviously you're going to have other guys come in on any given night. But if it's like a big close game and you need an innings eater, because that's what the O's brought this guy over to do. Didn't work out too well last year. Cole Irvin had his ups and downs, but that is what he is pitching to do with the A's. They knew they were getting an inning eater in Cole Irvin when the O's brought him over, and now he's doing that. He's been fantastic. But I don't know, Rip, would that be a role that you would like to see him in, or do you want to see him continue as a starting pitcher for this ball club?
I'd like to see Cole continue to start, but I think the reality is if there's one guy in the rotation that can bounce back and forth currently, I think it's Cole because of last year. And then you have a guy like when Tyler Wells comes back. Wells has dealt with both too. It's easier when you've dealt with a role before. It's hard to tell someone that hasn't done it and tries to go to the bullpen. And quite frankly, a lot of the guys in the bullpen don't have defined roles besides the two that I mentioned. And that's fine, but that's a hard understanding for pitchers when they're trying to figure out what they need to do. And again, look at all the moving parts here, by the way. When everyone's saying, oh, go out and get help now, why would you want to do that when you still have Perez that's coming back? Bradish and Means are slated to be back soon. Bradish and Means have both looked very good, Zach, the last time. And John Means, Obviously, it looks like he's rounded into form. It was his spring training. We've talked about this, but you don't make moves because you got to figure out what you have in-house first. Albert Suarez, we never would have heard about that.
I just brought up that comment because you're talking about it. So you're saying, listen, it could be a knee-jerk reaction because it is early and you talk about the O's in those close one-run games. So you're saying, Rip, you wouldn't want to see them really trade anyone or react to what happened in this A's series, or just, I don't know, the first half of the season. You don't see them needing a trade for the bullpen, right?
Hell no. What's the odds, Zach?
Well, I was just gonna say, it takes two to tango. What if you're not going to get a super valuable piece this early in the season because teams are looking to see what they have still, and you're still in that that early season delusion of, are we a competitive team? Do we not? So I think if the offer was there, if there was a potential to get a good player for the right price, I think Elias would do it already. But the other teams, I think people automatically are like, make sure Mason Miller doesn't leave Baltimore. Well, the A's probably want to take Mason Miller onto their next series. So it takes two teams to make a trade happen. It's not just Elias calling up a team like the A's, like they're a farm system team, and going, "Hey, we want to call up Mason Miller."
It's not like you're gonna give us Mason Miller right now.
Yeah, like it takes. So
He's not leaving this clubhouse.
Exactly.
Chain him to the door.
Yeah, like I see so many teams, like people will be like, after these losses are like, get on the phone, Mike. Like, Mike, what are you doing? And it's like, well, he's probably seeing what's available right now in all facets because that's what he's good at. He's good at finding the Suarezes out there that can come in and make a difference. And if there was a guy that he felt like would immensely help the team who was available, he would go get him. Yeah. But the other teams have to be willing to part with these guys this early in the season as well.
To bring up this. Go ahead, Brad.
I was just gonna say, shout out Sam. I was his coach when he was a kid in high school. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I was baseball coach. Yes.
And he turned out well.
Yeah,
that's the most surprising thing to come out of today. Good for him.
He's actually in the military now, so he's
all right.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. What I was gonna say about just if they go out, the bullpen takes care of business against the Yankees, one of the most powerful lineups in all of baseball, the talent they have. All is well in Baltimore again. Like I said, knee-jerk reaction. It does suck to lose to the A's. And you look at that and you're like, this is, Rip's motto's always been avoid sweeps, win series. Yes, they didn't get swept, but they didn't win the series either. It's like, you lost a series to the A's. That's not great because you never want to lose a series. No baseball team wants to lose a series to a team that doesn't even have a permanent home next season.
The A's are playing good ball. The A's are playing good ball. We are talking about the Athletics like they are the Chicago White Sox who just doubled their win total and swept.
Who, by the way, the fighting Gavin Sheets.
You want to talk about a team that should be disgusted with the last series? It's the Tampa Bay Rays, who just got swept by the 3-win White Sox. We are talking about the Orioles losing 2 games that, yes, they should have won against a Oakland team that is playing very good baseball right now.
What I'm saying is all will be well if they take care of business against the Yankees.
Yes.
This fan base will be, they'll take a deep breath. They'll be happy. They'll be like, all right, we're good to go. So we'll see what happens.
Kevin, you got your hand up?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Exactly Zach's point, where how good do people expect the A's to be this year? It's about finding trends out, and that's for contending teams and non-contending teams. We're just about to hit May here in a couple of days. It's, going to be May on Wednesday. So teams are trying to find out, and yes, there have been some trends already established within every team, but usually teams give it a couple of months. So if we continue to see this trend with the Orioles bullpen, continue to see guys get overworked and stuff along those lines, and guys not being able to come in and close out games or hold leads, then that trend becomes a real thing, as opposed to, is this just the first month and a half of the season thing? And then once that comes, the trade deadline keeps getting closer. And look, I'm not saying that the Orioles bullpen can improve and they're immune to all criticism. Yes, I mean we've seen the games, we've all watched them, right? there are some times where they haven't looked great. But actually, Zach, I want to ask you a question because you've been the bullpen rush sheet guru for the season here. Are you surprised at how much the Orioles are using certain guys so far this year?
Yeah, I do think so. They're just my biggest concern right now, and the biggest thing that I question with Brandon Hyde would be taking guys out with 2 outs. It just feels like he's not allowing guys to go that extra third of an inning to try to get out of innings. Now, if a guy has multiple attempts to get out of the inning and he just can't do it, that's one thing. But you'll see a guy like a Cole Irvin, a Corbin Burns, we've seen it happen a few times, and even some other guys in the bullpen where they're kind of going through the inning pretty well. They get to 2 outs. Maybe a guy gets on and immediately we go to a matchup. We go to, okay, let's just get this guy out, which I understand, but sometimes it's in a 3-4-5 run game. And it's like, listen, even if this guy hits a 2-run home run here, we still have the lead. And I think it's those little things of getting guys up, guys coming in for a third of an inning, and then they're throwing 10 pitches and then they're done. And then they come in the next game and they're throwing 2/3 of an inning. And it's like, that's where I'm like, okay, I wish we could have, hey, go this full inning, go this full inning. I understand matchups and stuff, but that's what kind of annoys me the most is when we're not allowing guys to finish innings. So we're using 1 to 2 extra bullpen guys a game that we don't necessarily need to use.
Well, when did that happen in a big time game last season? Correct me if I'm wrong, but did that not happen against the Texas Rangers? Game 1, did Bradish have 2 outs in that game in a 1-run game? I'm looking back here when that happened. So to your point, I agree there. I don't know. I mean, Rip, what's the deal there? Do you want to see guys finish off because
let me give context here.
Go ahead.
Because there's the fan part of it, which I understand. Again, like there is some merit and understanding of letting guys ride out if they're pitching well. Give you an example here of just recently when everyone's saying Dean Kramer. You guys know how many pitches Dean had thrown at that point in time?
What game we're talking about?
101 his last start. He was at 101 through 5 1/3. So the Orioles are sitting there being told, Hyde's even being told, hey, he can't go, like we have a limit on his pitches.
Yeah.
So we need to understand context here. This isn't just on Hyde being Hyde's pulling it.
Bullpen guys. Like when we'll see Coulomb come in and he gets the first 2 guys, third guy gets a single or walk, and they immediately go to bring in the righty. And I feel like those are the situations where now they bring in Bauman for, a third of an inning, and then they bring someone else in. They'll bring in Keegan Aiken next inning. And it's like, okay, well, now Bauman got up, got warmed up, went in and pitched for a third of an inning, and then boom, next guy. So it's like next game, you're not as confident that Bauman's being fully rested because he had to get up, get hot, and go out there. And it's those little situations where they'll bring a guy in for a third of an inning where I feel like you can let a top guy like a Cano or a Coulomb just finish out that inning and hopefully try to save the pen in the long run.
And just ride it out and hope for the best.
But here's the other part too.
Starters, I understand with obviously pitch counts that getting high. There's certain guys you can't.
But the similar things happen with the bullpen, and the most important job for a manager, to me, is one of the most, or I'd still put it at the top, is managing your bullpen. That is the hardest and most important position you can have because it dictates so many things with what you have. And for the Orioles, and this maybe because again I'm the optimist, but I'm also going to look at what's happened last year. Hyde did a lot of the similar situations, and I know that Batista's not here. That's a big part of your bullpen. That's not in the back end. Perez was up at people were saying, well, Perez is hurt again too. Ryan, Perez didn't really turn it on until the end of last season. Yeah. So you have a lot of familiar arms in this pen that was a top 5 bullpen last year on ERA. The other part early is trying to get guys work so they can feel fresh. It's one thing to not pitch, but it's another thing to get out of rhythm. And that's something that the Orioles, I still think personally, guys understanding what situations they're going to be in more. And I think that has been the hardest part for some of the guys where traditionally, Dylan Tate is coming off of not pitching in a year in the big leagues. And now he's pitching in different scenarios, trying to get back to 100%. We've talked about stuff with Big Mike Bauman. Bauman's a starter where they've said, hey, give us 2 or 3 innings out of the pen. And now, hey, can you come in with the bases loaded? That's a mental component that people aren't thinking of. So Hyde's trying to mix and match. You're right. The ultimate goal, Zach, is get your pitcher a clean inning and save a guy if you can. But I also want to at least point out this formula last year did result in success. And quite frankly, again, I don't think that it's much of a discussion if the Orioles win this series.
Yeah, but
I mean, people are still going to complain about it, but if the Orioles win one of these games, they're 18-9.
What's the winning cures everything?
yeah,
Yeah,
winning is what it
always,
is. But
always.
But I feel like it's kind of what you just alluded to in the fact of, having these guys, they want to have their roles, and Bauman has a certain role where it's like, okay, if he knows he's coming into the game in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning, that usually is where he is. We talk about O'Hearn. He kind of has a schedule he said of in the 4th inning, he starts preparing, starts looking at matchups, or it could be
right. It helps. It
yeah.
helps when you know your schedule. And that's the one
And
thing in the
then
bullpen that is more unpredictable, but it's
Yeah.
more unpredictable because there's not assigned designations of where guys are going to be throwing.
Yeah, so then I think it gets tougher when suddenly you're expecting to be a guy that's in the 6th or 7th inning in a clean, fresh inning. Then suddenly you're taking over a game when 2 outs and there's a guy on second. Obviously, if you get brought in because the other pitcher can't get an out, that's one thing. But I feel like there have been opportunities and times where I would have rather seen a trusted bullpen guy like the Canoes, the Coulombs. They obviously they haven't really done it with Kimbrel because he's finishing out innings. But I would have liked to see some of those guys get an opportunity to get out of innings, even when maybe the matchup saying it's not the best.
And listen, we're asking these questions because we're truly wondering. Like, we all respect the hell out of Brandon Hyde, love the job that he's doing. There are people I see out there that just like can't stand Hyde, and I just don't get that. I understand frustration sometimes, but this guy has been through the ups and downs of the Baltimore Orioles, and they're riding it out with him. And they're just coming off 101 wins. They're coming off a trip to the divisional round. They're coming off of you get that first round, like, okay, pass go, we're good. We're talking about Monopoly, like pass go on to the divisional round. You lose to the hottest team in baseball at that point in time in the Texas Rangers. Things could have gone differently, of course. But Hyde's done a tremendous job. It's just we want to ask these questions because we're truly wondering, and I think the fan base is wondering at times too.
And it's very valid. You're right, and I do.
100%.
There are things that, like I said, I think that established roles obviously can help. It's hard to predict roles for guys when, like, again, flow of the game, and you have a long relief guy, and you have a long relief guy that helps. Oh, it's the 4th inning, your starter gets knocked out. Hey, this guy's popping in there. Or, hey, we have our, back when we talk about, O'Hearn was talking about the Kansas City Royals team that won the, in 14-15, the team that went to win the World Series. They had a 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guy. They knew exactly what they were. Hey, you got the 7th, you got the 8th, you got the 9th. If we're winning the game, this is what happens. And if we're not, this is kind of what the lineup or this rotation or this bullpen staff could be. Mm-hmm. And that's the hardest thing you got to do. And personally, you're right. I'm just trying to give context where there's a lot more that you have to balance. And you're right. It's going to be scrutinized, especially when it doesn't work. And right now it's, right now, overall, the Orioles are still winning games. What you got, Zach?
I want to bring up this question because I actually been seeing this a lot on social media, questioning why Hyde did not pinch hit for Mateo in the 9th inning. I thought it was the right move personally, especially with Westy being under the weather. I see a lot of people saying Kerstead, why don't you get Kerstead up there? I understand the power aspect of at any moment he can tie the game, but Mateo had put together some really good at-bats that game. And with his speed, if he's on first, he's on second or third. So it immediately puts the defense in a difficult situation when he steps up knowing he can have a bloop single, he can walk, he can, a little dribbler down the line and he's getting safe. So I'm not concerned about that decision. I know we can look back and say, oh, but Kerstead, get the matchup. Yeah, I understand that situation, but I think they were more relying on, hey, if Jorge gets on in front of Gunnar, he's getting to second base no matter what. We're going to steal. And then we have Gunnar, Adley, and then who was batting? Was that Mountcastle batting third yesterday?
Mountie was what, two or three after.
So then you get to the heart of the lineup with the fastest guy on the team at second. So I'm not gonna really nitpick that decision. I agreed with that one.
And going back to your point, Ryan, about the roles in the bullpen, going back not too far long ago, I know it seems like forever ago, but you remember like the days of Brock O'Day in Britain where like there was set roles for all those guys where it was like, all right, O'Day was coming in the 8th, try to hold it and be the setup guy to get to Britain. And, Brock was the 7th inning guy at times. And it's like those established roles, but it's not how it works with every single ball club. And there's a level to like, you got to stay ready to go in any opportunity. But sometimes it can be a little challenging when you don't really know and I know a little more, Zach, with the bullpen rest sheet of like when guys could be coming in, but you can never predict it because sometimes a guy's just good in a certain matchup or the starting pitcher doesn't go as far, right? We're talking about that. So it's different for every ball club, but I do think as the season goes on, hopefully roles get established.
Yeah, and last thing, because we talked about the bullpen for way too long.
It's good conversation, though. Good convo.
Yeah. Also want to bring up, so Santander was batting third. John Michael. So McKenna would have been in the 3-hole, meaning if someone got on base, he would be up. Maybe Hyde was saving the pinch hit of Kerstead for that situation. We don't know, but I think that also played into it as well.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is early on for situations, and you got to look at where your roster construction is. And again, who are you going to pinch? Who's pinch hitting for the specific player, and which guy do you want to burn? In that case, they didn't want to burn Mateo for the ability to get on base and what he can do. You saw him be able to take multiple bags and set things up in the past. His speed does play a factor when he's able to get on there. And yeah, we'll obviously we'll talk more and more about pitching. But guys, I think it's time. This is why I wanted to move on to this. We got to hop on our Adams Jeep as the boys are getting ready for a new series. So let's hop on that Adams Jeep. Kevin,
I was bad for a second, but we're rolling right now.
That's better.
Well, hold on.
You got to get your shoulders into it. Like, just get the whole body.
Kevin, you were doing like the Harry Potter wand.
We need to get him like a vest, like a neon vest.
Well, I don't have
control like cones that they hold up as well, because that's what you don't like. That's what you're doing.
I don't have my training wheel today. So it was a little difficult.
That was hilarious.
Goodness.
That came out of nowhere when he grabbed the Wii wheel.
The Mario Kart. Yeah. Still the best in the world, by the way.
Kevin definitely makes that sound when he drives too.
Yeah,
windows down.
Have you guys seen that Geico commercial where the pig just out the
Yeah.
window?
Oh yeah,
Man.
That's Kevin.
He's got the little spinny thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
When he drives.
Wee. Oh, thanks, Mrs. A. I think is the pig's name Kevin?
Is it?
Oh my
I
god,
don't
I think
know.
it is.
Is it
might.
actually?
Wait, hold up.
We're gonna have to
that
look
would be
up.
hilarious. No,
But
way.
anyway,
My legacy is on the line right now.
But anyway,
dude.
we just took a ride on our Adams Jeep and that beautiful sign that's right behind Zach
Point.
right there. Adams Jeep
Point.
of Maryland.
Point,
To the
Zach.
side. There you go.
Oh, he's actually looking it up right now. But our friends at Adams Jeep of Maryland up in Aberdeen, proud sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show, do a lot with them. Going to have more with them in the future, maybe do a show up there as well.
It wasn't.
And to let you guys know, they have a deal going on. Any pre-owned vehicle that you buy up at the Adams Jeep of Maryland and you use, or it's not even a code, you just say, hey, I watched the Ryan Ripken Show. They will give you a $500 gas card. If you say you love the Ryan Ripken Show, you hate Kevin's driving, or you really do not like Rocco. One of the three will work.
Why are you hating on the short kings today, man?
Yeah.
My mom's defending you right now.
Thank
Any
you.
way you drive
I
the
can't
Adams
see
Jeep,
the comments.
She said, any way you drive the Adams Jeep, Kevin, is awesome.
Thank
Mom,
you.
if he's driving
Thank
it with
you.
a wand and no, then that's a little terrifying.
Yeah,
Is it a safety
it is.
hazard? Is that a safety hazard?
Well, you
Without a
can't.
doubt.
What's like? I was trying to think of one of the spells, like Wingardium Leviosa. You're not
Well,
like
the
levitating
only
something.
one I know.
Guardian with an L.
No,
I don't.
the only one I know is the most
Don't you-
is the crazy. What is it? The one that Voldemort.
Avada Kedavra.
Yes, there we go.
You guys are
Do you guys not watch
Speaking
Harry Potter?
of best Harry Potter movie, maybe this could be a
Unbelievable.
poll. Is the last one?
okay. We're gonna stop right there for a second.
Oh my
Um,
God.
Let's get into. We're gonna talk about the series preview, and then we're gonna get our Hollywood Casino plays for this because we've been asked more about.
And
doing
maybe a
some
picks.
picks.
Surprise at the end that I don't think you know about yet, Ryan.
I don't know if I like that.
Ooh,
Okay.
I put it in the show notes.
While we're finishing with Adam's Jeep, I hate you, Chuck.
Oh my god,
Hate you, Chuck.
Wow. Okay.
that's a little aggressive.
But Adams Jeep of Maryland up in Aberdeen. You tell if you want to buy a pre-owned vehicle, Jeep or no Jeep, You can get a $500 gas card with the purchase if you mention that you watched the Ryan Ripken show. All right, guys, the Yanks are coming to town.
Yes.
We are here. And also the pig's name is Maxwell.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
what,
Yeah.
All right.
It was
That's
super disappointing.
all right.
that makes it even better. You know, it's Kevin to me now. Kevin.
Why?
Because it kind of fits. Yankees are in town.
I don't do that.
Guys, the Yanks are here. Heel. They're coming to town. They got a 1-game lead on the Birds as they open up a 4-game set. First time meeting for the Orioles and Yankees this season. Yankees are coming off beating the Brew Crew, guys, in the last 2 games. They lost the opener to the Brewers on a walk-off fashion. Shout out to Joey Ortiz, former Oriole. First home run, walk-off, fantastic for him. But the Yankees in the last 2 games put up 15 runs each. So they're swinging the bat extremely well. Obviously, we know the Orioles just dropped the series. And to guys give you a little bit of context of what's been happening, obviously that Yankees offensive output has thrusted them back up into the top 8 on a runs per game basis. New York is now averaging over 5 runs a game, but Baltimore still sits in second in all of baseball in runs per game, only trailing the Atlanta Braves at this current moment in time. And on the pitching side, because again, that's what we just touched on, the Yankees pitching staff's been really good. And despite their starting rotation issues and their staff as a whole making a lot of trades, the Yankees sit with the 4th best team ERA at 3.10. The Baltimore Orioles, meanwhile, are sitting 15th, right in the middle of the pack with a 3.89. So where do we want to start with this, guys? Do we want to start with the fact that finally we got a first divisional matchup in Baltimore, and this is this isn't talking about fireworks. It's not football. Somebody hit somebody or physically throw at somebody, but this is a massive series, Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are the games, if you're a fan, you love to watch.
100%.
This is no longer okay. So the days of the Yankees being the O's big brother and the O's being the bottom of the barrel team in the division, for now, those days are over. And hopefully for the long haul, those days are over, because these are the 2 teams that are going to be neck and neck for years to come. That's at least what I'm hoping when it comes to the AL East in that divisional race. And it could very well be the case this year. I cannot wait for this series. First of all, we get 4 games. And I know it's early, but fans should be super excited for this series. Number one, I want to say this to all the fans out there. Do not let Yankees fans come in and take over Camden Yards this week, because you have the evil empire, whatever you want to call the Yankees, coming into town. The days of, Camden Yards being packed with the pinstripes, the Yankees jerseys, them cheering louder than you, those days should be over. Those days should be in the past. Pack Camden Yards. I know they're weekday games, but get there. Watch this team, cheer them on, pack it out, because this is going to be a great series. And I'm telling you what, I know it's early and we're talking about, division series all the time. They're very meaningful. And looking back, right now, this is the biggest series of the year for the O's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
And the Yankees,
I know
for
we're
that matter.
early, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And again, there's less division games than there used to be. It's still, you play this team a lot, but this is where these games are even more emphasized, especially if it's a team that you think you're going to be competing for a winning the division, playoff spot, you name it. But guys, there's a player on the Yankees, and it's not Juan Soto.
I was going to say, this is your legacy game with Soto and Henderson.
I love
first, it. But this is going to be a little bit. Just sorry to cut you off for a second, Ryan. But
No, you're not.
Okay, all right, cool. This is going to be. This is a Kevin Allshecker show now. I'm sorry, but you look at the stats a little bit around the Orioles and the Yankees. Orioles number 1 in homers this year. Yankees number 2. You go to average. Orioles number 5. Yankees number 8. So they're pretty balanced out. This might be an offensive show, but you look to the pitching. The Yankees have the 2nd best staff ERA in baseball right now, only behind the Boston Red Sox, who are also in that vaunted AL East. I almost said AFC East. AL East division.
You're a football guy.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I'm still in football mode. So to me, this is a really big opportunity for the Orioles offense to go out there, score some runs. And unfortunately, it was not the bullpen series we all expected against the A's, but maybe they can lock in here and hopefully sweep the Yankees. That's the goal, right? But hopefully at least get a series win.
And you're right. I actually just checked it, so it didn't update on my one, and I had the Yankees at a 3-1. you're right. The Yankees now have moved up from a 3.10 ERA for being third in baseball to now a 3.08, leapfrogging to 2. But the guy, obviously, Aaron Judge, talking about Juan Soto. The one that we haven't talked about is Aaron Judge. You want to talk about struggles initially for Aaron Judge. Prior to the last 2 games against Milwaukee, Judge had 101 at-bats and was hitting a $178.
Yuck.
For the Yankees. But this is where it gets very interesting here, because in his last 2 outings, guys, 2 games, he's 5 for 8. He's got 2 jacks and 5 ribbies. Judge is starting to rise and he's starting to pick it up, which is not great for the Orioles fans, but for baseball fans, one of the superstars is starting to get going. So when you think of Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Cedric Mullins, Mountie, this is a loaded series. And quite frankly, to me, if Aaron Judge gets going, this lineup just looks tremendously different. And by the way, Anthony Rizzo hit a big milestone for him. I believe he just hit his 300th home run,
which is like, I asked you the other day, Rip. I was like, Anthony Rizzo's hit 300 home runs over the course of his career. That just like, it didn't baffle me because he's been a home run hitter, but 300, it's just like, I feel like he quietly got to that number. It didn't like, I don't know.
Pretty good player.
I feel like Judge, he might have heard Zach. It was like the Zach Judge is 2 for 26 at this point, or 1 for 20 something.
1 for 24.
And then he just goes off. As an O's fan, I would want the Yankees at their best, though. I don't want an Aaron Judge slumping.
I would 1,000% want an Aaron Judge slumping.
Here's why. Well, yes, obviously you don't want to see him do well, but you want to beat the Yankees at their best, because then you kind of see how you match up with these guys, the power in the lineup early on, and how it is going forward. You don't want a slumping Aaron Judge now, and then you get to, the later months of the season, we're talking August and September, and you get Aaron Judge like fully just hitting the cover off the ball. I know obviously in this series you want to see him struggle. You don't want to see him go.
I want to see him struggle in every series he plays against.
But wouldn't you want these guys at their best when they come into town?
Absolutely not.
I want them to walk in here and have the most miserable 4-game series of their entire lives.
Obviously, but I'm saying when they come in here, and then you want to just smack them in the face.
Well, here's
Am I
the
an
other
idiot for thinking that.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you're getting a lot. You are getting cooked.
Oh my God!
But here's the other thing to understand with baseball, as you guys have known being around the game. It really does. It obviously, when guys are feeling good and they're streaking, they tend to carry it over for a little bit. But there's no guarantee. You might see the Brewers extremely well, and you might not see the Orioles well. And that's what people are hoping. You're hoping, if you're an Orioles fan, that Aaron Judge and Juan Soto haven't seen any pitching like this ever before this season, and the Orioles surprise them, because when they are on, it's a very different team. And I don't like there's way more talented players in that lineup. Like Anthony Rizzo obviously had that big game, got his milestone. Anthony Volpe is a fantastic player for the New York Yankees, who, quite frankly, last year he showed a lot of his power, but it was very inconsistent. This year he's gone back to hitting it to all parts of the field. That's actually Know Your Foe I will have to pull up there, because of him and Aaron Judge. I already did one on Juan Soto, but Volpe is a fantastic young shortstop, great ability. And so far, to me, he's found out more about himself in his second year in the big leagues. And guys, I'm going to pull up his, when I do his breakdown in the future, I'm going to pull up his chart, because he is now using the whole part of the field, and that's made him so dynamic. Yeah, currently hitting 282, 26 strikeouts, 13 walks. Last year, that was a big part of his game. He struck out 167 times, which was more than 1 per game for the New York Yankees as a starting shortstop. So it'll be good. I think you're going to see a very exciting time. And for the Orioles that are throwing, do we have the probable starters
For the Orioles?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, Michael just put it in the chat. It's Grayson, Kramer, Burns, and then to be determined.
Which could be Bradish.
Yeah, which is the assumed day that they bring Kyle Bradish back.
And right now it's going to be, so that first day, Schmidt versus Grayson Rodriguez, Nestor Cortez versus Dean Kramer, and then it's Gill versus Burns. So the thing that I want people to understand, and actually this is why for the Orioles it's going to be even more paramount with this Yankee staff. The Yankees actually have flipped the switch on the Orioles so far in one-run games. One-run games, 8-3 for the Yankees. Baltimore, they're sitting at 2-4. So the Yankees have found ways to stay in it. Why their bullpen has continued to find ways. I mean, guys, this is a team where over the years, the Yankees have had arms come up through their system. I tell you, I don't know where the hell it comes from sometimes, but they are beasts. Rocco, you got a thought, concern, or you want to take your pre-workout?
No, I just finished my pre-workout, so like I'm starting to like itch a little bit.
I can see that
jitters right now. Yeah, I realize I'm an idiot with my. I'm getting cooked in the replies,
and you should.
Like, yeah,
rightfully
that's fair. But what I was saying, because I want a great series. I really do. I want there to be fireworks. Obviously, yeah, like you said, Rip, you don't want people to get thrown at and whatnot, but I do want some chippiness, because I think the Orioles should come into this series with some swagger, with some, okay, we just won the AL East last season. We're the team. You guys have to knock off the high horse. It's no longer you guys. So you're going to get us at our best. We want to get you guys at your best, but like everyone in the replies is saying, like, nah, we want the Yankees to suck. Fair. That's fair.
Well, you just want them to not play well against Baltimore.
Yeah,
and by the way, to drive home my point that I was just saying about the Yankees bullpen, fourth best bullpen in baseball. Are you trying to do this here, Kevin, or are you just milk mustache?
I mean, I'll do it. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'll do it.
Hey, why don't we then, for fun here, as we continue here, it's all for fun here.
Kevin's gonna have. Are you coming in tomorrow?
I might be dead if I do.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I actually don't know if I have some. I have to check if I have something.
If Kevin has back-to-back early days, this is going to be, I mean, incredible. How many hours of sleep are you coming off of right now?
Just over 4, maybe just under 4.
Guy's a machine.
So
that's all I gotta say.
And while we're here, then, guys, might as well bring up our other friends. And while we're getting a little bit frisky, feeling a little bit lucky, are we feeling lucky? How about our friends over at Hollywood Casino in Charlestown Races there in West Virginia, which we will have a live show going on over there in the upcoming week. We will keep you posted more on that later this week. And they just had in the last Friday, I believe, they had the Steelwoods with Low Water Bridge Band that played. They have Dave Attell coming for comedy on Saturday night. I believe it's Saturday this night, May 4th. But they got over 30 TVs, 3-sided jumbotrons. I think if we're there, maybe we have to place our own bets. And if you treat me well enough, Kevin, I will take you to one of the steakhouse there if you're feeling it. The Final Cut Steakhouse. Only if you're nice. You don't like sushi, do you?
No, I love sushi.
Okay, because we could also go to the Nine Dragons.
Do you not like
Bistro.
sushi?
Oh, I love it. Huge fan.
Yeah, I love
fan.
sushi.
Kevin, when we go to the casino, make sure you have 2 different forms of ID.
I've never been to
probably
a casino.
Your social security card as well,
never been to a casino.
How many times does Kevin get carded at a casino?
I've told the story. I got carded at a family event.
Yeah, that was bad.
At my aunt's house. It wasn't even a public place. It was my aunt's house.
What?
I did not get carded by my family, by the way. That was not what happened.
Oh,
Who carded you at your aunt's house?
There was a bar. There was a like set up bar, and there I think it was like in they hired a company or something, and they sent a bartender, and I guess their policy is they have to card people who look 12 like me.
Are you the person that has to bring your ID to like normal people usually? I mean, you're gonna leave your wallet in the hotel room if you go downstairs to a wedding. You definitely bring your ID, correct?
Yeah.
Like back pocket all the time.
Yeah. I've never been to a casino, so
there you go.
First time for everything. There you go.
Wow, how about that, Rip?
Sorry, Gavin Sheets just sent me a ridiculous photo of myself.
Oh.
Also, I like this
comment
comment here. I think that Michael is saying this because I'm short. So shout out to you, Michael.
I shall call him. Is it a comment? Mini me.
Do we have a time?
Kevin, you haven't seen the damn movie?
Yes, I have. I've seen Austin. Like you. Oh, what?
What? What did Gavin send you?
So,
is it NSFW?
No, it's just describing his mood. And I'm like, you guys are so bad because they're pumped right now. Hang the banner in Chicago. The White Sox are back.
They're winning it.
The White Sox are back. This is the moment they're going to do a 30 for 30. They did sweep the Rays, and they're trying to steer the ship. This is good context for all Orioles fans. You could be the White Sox. No offense, Gav. Love you and the team. you could be sitting at, for a while, UConn men's national. What was it? UConn, the men's basketball team had more wins than the White Sox.
Yeah,
did.
up until this past series, the UConn men's basketball team had more wins since opening day than the Chicago White Sox.
Oh, sugar.
It's kind of brutal.
Well,
they only played 4 games.
Got a lot of good kids here. And all of you tuning in are good kids. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for the Ryan Ripken Show. But, guys, why don't we get some of our, for Hollywood Casino, get some of our best bets in for this. Right now, tonight, as the Orioles play at 6:35, Orioles-Yankees, over and under set at 9.5. Money line for the Orioles is sitting at minus 120. And it doesn't have to be one of these bets. It's just what is I like to do that, Will Ferrell, like in your plums. What do you think in your plums, Zach, is the bet you're going to be rocking with?
I'm going with the Ryan Ripken Show bump. Ryan O'Hearn plus 2 bases, 2 or more bases is at plus 110. So you come on the show, you perform. Last week, Kowser hit a home run after coming on the show. So just saying, just going off the history.
Yeah, off the history of it. I got to talk to, I will tell Ryan when this happens.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. Kevin, you have any thoughts over there?
I picked Adley home run last time, but I'm picking Adley again. I'm going Adley over 2.5 bases this time. 9-game hit streak. He's been hitting the cover off of the ball here. He's on a hot streak. I'm gonna say he continues it tonight.
Ooh. Rock, are you just hanging out?
Just here for a good time.
Yeah, I thought you were here for a good time. I think I'll just say with this, and I don't know if it's in the betting sense. I'm going to say right now, I think that the Orioles. I think Grayson Rodriguez strikeouts dropped a little bit. So if there's one tonight, I'm taking Grayson to strike out over 5.5 batters for the Birds. I'm thinking Grayson gets going here. That just seems like money, and then we'll get the Grayson Rodriguez bump. But I like it. I like where the team is at. I do think. We are surprisingly, I don't know if I think that 9.5 is high. I think that pitching staffs are going to be a little bit better. And I think Grayson Rodriguez is going to bounce back in a big way, especially after what happened his last outing. And against the Yanks, Grayson's a big time pitcher. Brad, what do you got behind the scenes there? You had some luck there in the past.
Yeah, so I was going to take the Grayson Rodriguez strikeouts over 5.5 as well. So with that being said, Gunnar Henderson is on an absolute tear.
Bender.
I total hits plus 165 over 1.5. That's an easy over, but I think he's also getting a dinger on this one. A jack for Gunnar Henderson plus 380 over half a home run today.
Ooh, that'd be good. We'll see what happens there. The Orioles again starting the first of a 4-game set with the New York Yankees tonight here. Hey, Cam believes it too. Gunner home run, book it. Before we get out of here, last thing, I saw something with the uniforms. Kevin, you wanted to show us with the Rays.
Yeah,
for the
I
City
can't.
Connect.
My computer's gonna.
Yeah, I
blow
know
up
it's
my
gonna.
face if it happens. But if someone could pull up what I put, the Rays released their City Connect uniforms just a couple minutes ago.
Yes.
And there is some controversy about if they are the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world. So, yeah, there we go.
That actually is way better than some of the other City Connects, in my opinion.
No,
It actually fits their colors more than other teams. Like the Phillies ones, not Philly.
What's with this picture though? Like
they have a skating Ray as one of the one of the logos.
Hold on. Here it is. This sold it for me. There's a
Oh,
Ray
my.
on a skateboard on the uniform.
I actually think these are good.
That sold it for me. I was
That's kinda
50-50. I saw the Ray fucking riding a skateboard, and that was it. That was it.
no,
It's a kid
that is so dumb.
Hey, don't you curse on my show. John's going to get pissed off here.
I'm
Zach.
so sorry, John. I'm so sorry.
We need to implement like a swear jar.
No.
No,
but
we
then,
should.
but
That'd
then
be-
I get the money.
No.
Absolutely not.
What the hell, Kevin?
No.
So it's my big plan, right? We say no cursing. If you curse, $1 goes in, but Ryan always has to pay, even if it's us. And then I just curse, and then I get all the money.
So what happens when you?
Interesting.
What about every time
That's
you
called
mess up
passive
the
income.
Kevin Oki?
Oh, either that or I was gonna say whoever's bet hits ends up getting the money for that day or that night.
Zach's gonna bet Justice Hill
Going
3
forward.
touchdowns every single time.
We'll set up the
Oh my God.
the swear jar.
That just does not feel like a real time in life. But I was so confident in that. I've never.
you were
so
hyping it up. You were hyping
Was
it
I
up.
here for that show when John was
No, it was
upset?
the Jackson one.
I will say though, the number of people that DM'd me over that week of like, dude, I'm coming with you. Like Justice Hill 3 touchdowns. Like there was a movement. Like like people say this a lot. If Justice Hill scored 3 touchdowns, like families were actually getting fed.
If Justice Hill ever scores 3 touchdowns in a game, you were getting tagged.
Oklahoma State.
Oh,
I looked it up.
I
No,
know.
I'm saying if he does in the NFL, like you're
There's
getting,
history.
What?
There's history. I know my stuff.
I understand that. I'm saying, can you let me finish? Can you let me finish? Can you let me finish?
Well, okay, actually, it's
Okay,
gonna be
Quagmire.
Rasheen Ali 3 touchdowns now, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It'll
Well,
come
one
to
more
me.
thing, I think, and Brad, I think if one of us wants to do this, is I think a safe money bet, depending on the odds, is every week putting like $5 on a Patrick Ricard anytime touchdown. Because I think it's going to
Yes.
cash 1 or 2 times, and you know what? There could be some profit in that if you put 5 down every week on it.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
absolutely here for that.
You know what I'm also here for? I'm here for a little bit of Kevin Oki.
You're
and
going to
let
make me do
let-
Kevin Oki on 4 hours of sleep.
Is that the excuse now? Let me put my
Okay, all
phone
right. You
in.
know what? Then if I get it, it's an all-time story. If I don't, then
Is it an
Well.
all-time story? I'm trying to make it easier for you because I don't even know. This song's been playing a lot recently, or it's been a hit. I'll say
okay.
that.
Are we
for you,
doing
Kevin.
chorus or no chorus?
I can't give you the full chorus, Kevin. If you still get it wrong, it's your fault. I don't know what to tell you. But again, let's play a little Kevin Oki, or let me put my poems in you, Kevin. And we got a new member as we get this going here. Thank you, Steve.
right.
Hey, Steve.
Appreciate you, Steve.
Hold on,
Kevin-
Since you're putting on your glasses, I'm gonna put on my glasses.
I like that you brought the case.
That's what I was.
I do. They gotta protect them.
You look so.
Oh my goodness.
I love this, Kevin. I love this guy.
This is hilarious.
Don't smile. Thank you. All
Game
right.
face on
Welcome.
Kevin.
Yeah, game face.
Come on.
Now let's play Kevin Oki.
Shaking. You're probably trying not to laugh.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's play Kevin Oki,
Okay.
or let me put my poems in you. So for those that are new to this, I will, in poem fashion, read song lyrics to Kevin. And in the hopes that he will get it right, he is on a losing streak right now where he's lost the last 2. Will it make it 3? He previously lost to I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston and Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain. But without
Terrible.
further ado, here we go. I'm going through withdrawals. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch. Baby. I look around and Sin City's cold and empty. Ooh, no one's around to judge me. Ooh, I can't see clearly when you're gone on.
I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the light.
Hey,
Hey,
Let's go. Losing streak is over.
Good stuff, buddy.
Let's go.
When he broke and just oh, that's an all-time Kevin Oki moment.
And that was you actually sang it well,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That was
That was
Let me tell
incredible.
you, I knew the lyrics, but I did not know I didn't know until literally the last second. And you said when you're gone, I'm like, all right, I know it. Let's
So
go.
if I just said when you're gone,
I wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
I
No,
wouldn't have
I'm
gotten
not
it.
gonna lie. I was even, and then you did the and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I know
Because
exactly.
I recognized the words. I just couldn't put it together.
well, you've been saying that about every freaking song that you've missed over the last. Oh yeah, no, I get. Oh no, I
Well, you
didn't
see,
know it.
if you had said I want to dance with somebody, I would have gotten it.
You're getting the oh him chants in the chat, Kevin, right now.
Oh, really?
People are
I
like-
gotta put the comments back on. Hold on.
Kevin wants to go read how happy he is.
People were happy, dude. That was electric. And then people were saying, put him in a Top Gun movie, Michael. We might have to.
I was gonna say he
It-
looks
it-
like
it's-
some sort of like cartoon character or something. I don't know what it is, but He reminds me of somebody with those
Power of
shades
the
on.
Sun. Power of the Sun. People say I look like Tom Cruise, but I don't see it.
No.
They also
Well,
say
you
I
might
look
be the
like
same
Clark
height,
Kent.
I think, actually.
You might actually we'll have you jump on the couch one of these days.
Ryan,
Freak out. Yeah.
Real quick, people have been asking in the chat, what time tomorrow?
Oh, well, we are going live at 10.
Yeah, wake up with the Ryan Ripken show again.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Literally,
With
literally
ripping the good kids. Hey, and Kevin.
Yeah, literally. I will not lie. Literally, when we did the Jackson holiday set, I woke up, turned on my phone, saw Zach's. We're going live. I said, "All right." Literally rolled out of
He
bed.
literally texted. He said, "Don't start. Wait for me."
He sent the Undertaker meme, didn't he?
Yeah.
I did. I did.
and
I
then-
literally woke up like that.
I wish people could have seen Kevin entering like the stream studio because
Oh.
I'm sitting on my computer. Kevin just sits down and is just like looking around, like still trying to wake
Yeah,
up.
I was struggling. I was struggling.
And he was like, "Hey, I just woke up," and I'm like, "I can tell."
I'm
Kevin."
still waking up right now.
Oh,
Worked
tell
for
by that.
36 hours straight
That
over the
singing,
weekend.
man, was like,
I mean, I was on stream for every single pick of the draft. A stream. I did this one for the first round. I did a Bleacher Report on Friday, and then I did Ken McCusick. It was a 5-hour stream here, 4-hour stream there, 7-hour stream the other one. So what is that? 16 hours of streaming plus 3 Locked On Ravens live shows, 3 bonus episodes. I have to write a ton of articles.
Are you
so,
okay?
what's
Yeah,
crazy
I'll
is
get there.
I was just getting home from work, and I see Kevin is like, I go on Twitter and he's just like, "Oh, we're live right now, like an hour in," and I'm like, "Dude, it is 3:30 in the
Literally,
morning."
Joe, shout out
So
to Joe. Joe
Zach-
actually called it in the comments of this
Yeah.
show, said that I was going to go live at 2, and that's when I went live. And Zach and Rocco are both in my comments.
Zach
I was
commented
laying
it
in
was
bed.
hilarious.
And Rick,
then-
Rick was in there. Cube was in there. Joe was. We got a lot of people
It was
in there.
awesome.
So appreciate everybody
hell
for tuning
yeah.
in.
And hopefully they're
Yeah.
liking to subscribing to that. And hopefully you guys are liking and subscribing to the Ryan Ripken show. We would
Absolutely.
greatly appreciate that and continue to become members.
Oh,
Tom!
Hey,
Oh,
Tom.
I'm getting up. Oh, put it back on the screen. Put it back on the screen, baby.
That's incredible.
Boy, you're the man, Tom. You're the
no,
man.
I have to get up too.
I've never
Yeah,
been a part
yeah.
of a community
Better
that,
stand up,
that
Kevin.
I've
Don't
never
get-
Can we
been
do
a
the
part.
clap-
clapping
wall.
again? Can we do the clapping again?
Yeah. There it is, Kevin.
Kevin is on one. Listen, AM Kevin might be the best version of Kevin. we're ever
this
gonna
is
get
me
in our
on 4
lives.
hours of sleep.
This is
I'm going
fantastic.
crazy right
Yeah,
now.
we got it. We need more of this, Kevin. This
Well,
is
apparently
yeah.
we're doing it all again tomorrow.
So we are doing it tomorrow because our guest, he's available from then. And for our Holy Shirts and Pants members, you guys have already gotten that news of who that is. For other members or other fans of the show, we will be dropping some hints here soon, but we're doing that at 10 a.m. Internet permitting. We got a notification that despite our other technical difficulties, it's a little bit harder if the internet
Yeah, sometimes
has
it's not
issues.
us.
Yeah, sometimes it
it's
really
not
isn't us. But
Yeah.
a lot of the times it is us. But I think that does it for this show. I might do a breakdown here after we're done, and maybe I do that live. I don't know. But Rocco's he's getting very jittery over there.
Oh,
so we-
dude, my body is
oh
like,
my God.
yeah, I'm like,
I looked over. He's
I'm
like,
like shaking right now, and it's like I should not have drank that pre-workout 15 minutes ago. I am like, yeah, it's bad.
yeah.
Thank you, Joe. I know that song too, by the way. There ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees.
So you know
What
that,
was that,
but
a-
you don't know. You don't know.
You just
Whitney
turned that into
Houston.
you just turned that into a country song.
I feel like if we start bringing up rap music, because that's
That's
Kevin's-
what
in Kevin's wheelhouse.
that's what I listen to. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't your username is like Waka Flocka?
yeah.
Oh my, yeah. Can we talk about that? His username.
I had to change it.
Discord is
to-
Waka Flocka Boy. And so when he first entered the chat, none of us had really like we obviously had done a few shows
Right.
with Kevin, but none of us knew him like really that well. And it just says Waka Flocka Boy has entered the chat. And I was like, there's no way.
Oh man,
my picture is my favorite rapper, for a while was Meek Mill. He hasn't really done it. I mean, he's kind of in the news now for a bunch of other crazy stuff. But
So what Meek Mill song can you sing by
Dreams and Nightmares.
I was gonna say
Dreams and Nightmares.
from the beginning?
I can
Yes.
We probably
Not the entirety of the song, but like from that, the part that everybody's. I mean, Rocco, you know, with like the whole Philly.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I can't. Can you lead up? Can you sing the build up to that?
I used
not
to,
right now.
I used to pray for times like this.
Yeah, 1,000% do a duet.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Amanda, you were right. Amanda, you were absolutely right. That's like I'm dying right now. By the way,
the pre.
So you know what? We're gonna have more to do on this big board over here on the side. We'll get more of that going, and maybe it will be with Kevin singing to Meek Mill. We will get the Ripped with Rip going on the program. We also later in the week, by the way, Jason Benowich, friend of the show, Baltimore Battery, he has an announcement that's upcoming this week. So we're going to talk about that as well, because I think Orioles fans might be interested, because it's all about getting the community involved. Sorry, I picked up the bat because it's fun.
We should. Alan was asking.
Do we? I haven't said anything yet, though.
We're not going to. If you want to know who that is, make sure you're becoming a part of the Holy Shirts and Pants membership, and you get to find out those guests well in advance of when we announce it. We'll announce who the guest is going to be tomorrow morning before the show starts. But if you really want to know now.
We'll also put out hints. We'll put out hints as well leading up to tomorrow. And then for the Holy Shirts and Pants members, by the way, we also are going to, again, we like to ask you what breakdowns you want, what you want to see next, who you want us to bring on as for guests. And we actually are setting up then that first live stream. So again, please check members, please check your notifications so you're not missing out on anything, so we can keep you in the loop. And so when we do some of these special things, that you guys can be there and reap the benefit. Does that sound good? Does that sound cheeky?
Yeah. Also, Discord's been popping recently. A lot of baseball conversation in there. Obviously, with the draft, a lot of football conversation too. So I don't know if the link's been put at all in this stream, but if you want to join that, get in on the conversation with us, with other people, just talking Orioles, talking Ravens, talking general. There's been a lot in there. So if you want to join and be a part of that too, that's another way to get involved with the show. And that's free. So you can join that and be a part of it. Yeah. Also, Joe, I don't know who sings it. There's only so much I can do at 12 p.m. So
you're good.
But I do know
so much you can mentally do.
I got bills to pay. I got mouths to feed. That's all I know.
All right. On that note,
Jesus,
we should get out of here.
Kevin's my favorite guy on the show.
Wait a minute. Does this do? Why isn't my lights popping up here on the screen though?
So not letting us play the damn song.
Can you hear anything?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh no.
Is it not plugged in?
No. Wait a minute. Oh, we're back.
Yes.
We're back. We are back.
That Joe guy. Where is that Joe guy? Bye, Joe.
As always, here with the Ryan Ripken Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back for an impromptu show tomorrow. We will also be back on Thursday. But as always, have a day, have a night. Thank you for waking up with us, Ripping the Good Kids. And we will see you guys soon.
Stop